Hello. Alright. Maximum 10 pulls for Mr. Dimitri. Lego. No way. There is no way, right?
So, Leon's code name is Legion.
What the hell? This has to be
Abandoning
my
his
luckiest
family
banner.
And his name. I see.
Ain't no goddamn way.
Well done. Operator Bellone, reporting in.
Balloon. Look at this guy. Well, that was quick. Alright, gentlemen, after that lucky ass pull, it's time to read The Red Wine Murder. Why is Vigil there? I am up to date-ish with the Siracusa stuff. Oh, these two. Gambino. It's all something. What about this smell? He's got all packed up, especially in the cellar. Shouldn't be smell at all. Don't find anything else good enough for a taste. Stops the cream of the crop, but that's not speaking when I quit this job. I want to quit working, I want to quit work here. What's the difference? Either way, we're stuck around with the street, keeping watching, hopefully nothing comes looking for trouble. Great paint from that side ain't washing out. Once you get paid, I'm buying a new coat for my ride. I'm sharing the more guys for later. What's their new shtick now? Normal senior really is a goddamn record. Turning a Sicilian like you into a responsible businessman. This fat Casimir pays way more than Antonio ever did, right? Fat Casimir's no goddamn idea. How's he supposed to know running a taxi company had all these costs? He's driving a taxi is a lot more exciting than patrolling the street, though. I think there should be too much time on his hands to try to mess up this red wine championship anyway. I got nothing. Forget about it. We're done with the street. Let's head back to the theater. You know, why did the Casimir should come to us with this event security job anyway? It's me? Maybe a referral from some kind soul. Forget about it. Is this the guy? Zarek. Ladies and gentlemen, if I may occupy a moment of your time. Lighting in the theater is almost a little too bright, as if trying to light up every face in the building. A well-dressed businessman stands in the center of the stage, lightly tapping a glass of red wine in his hand. Crisp note is not loud, but still gets the guests to quiet down. And you're all looking forward to the wine and music and to the moments ahead that will be worth remembering. When we get to that, first I'd like to say a few words. Hosting the Red Wine Championship here in the city means so much to us. No Vavosini is a promise of order, and ever since we selected this place for our competition, that promise has been proved beyond doubt. Wine takes time. And time demands stability. Casimir Zien, a businessman, continues on once the applause dies down. Tells of the year of the vintage, how it was made, and of course, intercity cooperation and logistics systems. Every word falls into place with nary a syllable wasted. Naturally, without the support of Nuova Volsini City Hall, this championship might never have come together so quickly. It is our honor to be working with you, Mayor Bellone. What's this, another car accident? Nuova Volsini welcomes all foreign parties to abide by our city's laws. So long as you are here to do respectable business, nothing will stand in your way. Of course. I'm not here to flatter you. You know, Nuova Volsini have no fear of the familia. Trying to get a hand in my business, no need to search for any hidden meanings in the deals I sign. Such clarity in business is truly priceless. Sounds like you have a very positive opinion of the city. Exactly. That is why we wish to bring the finest wines here, alongside some much-needed cooperation. In that case, we find ourselves honored. We're still waiting here. When are we getting started? Yeah, I want to see how good Casimir's wine really is. A few rude voices force their way out of the crowd and begin to spread throughout the audience. But under the bright lights, the businessman's face shows no signs of displeasure. Yeah, I suppose I've droned on too long to tested our guests' patience. And I would like to invite Nuova Volsini's famed orchestra to the stage. Their performance shall serve as the opening ceremony for the championship finals. Championship finals? As the light dims, Zarek takes the opportunity to accompany Leontuso off the stage to appreciate the performance from some nearby corner. Leontuso, however, does not look to the stage. With no glaring lights to blind him, you can see the man calmly walking up to him. Hello. Mi dispiace. Okay, hold up. Let me check what that means. It means I am sorry. My associates aren't used to this sort of thing, so they get a little excited. It's fine. Probably be plenty more events like this coming to Nuovo City. Guess I'd better teach him to behave soon then. And who might this gentleman be? Senor Dimitri Bellone, a local wine merchant, also participating in the competition. Ah, your reputation precedes you, the young promising head of Saluza Vino. A pleasure, though there's one thing I've been meaning to ask. Everyone is here tonight just for the tasting session, right? Of course, of course. The question of a wine's quality is ultimately answered by the tongue. Good. I swear this championship would be decided by whose background was cleaner or who had the nicer story to tell. The story behind the wine is important, but if the wine cannot stand on its own 2 feet, then even the prettiest words will not prop it up for long. You're right. I'm sure the victor will be crowned based solely on his flavor. Smile. Sounds like you won't be disappointed, even if your wine doesn't make it to the finals. You're a funny man, Mayor Bellone. You look the very picture of a businessman now. Ah! I guess so. Were you hoping I wouldn't be? I've heard Kazimiersians have great faith in fair competition. I'm eager to see it for myself tonight. But I have the feeling the real results will make themselves known very quickly. Sounds like I have something to look forward to. To witness a fair competition in Nuova Volsini, a city no longer bound by the old rules. Why, that's the entire reason we're here. Holy optimism. Here's something. You asked me that when we were heading out the door. I couldn't be making noise down in the cellar unless it's someone stealing wine. Here's all the wine they got for the competition, just this one row. Yeah, I guess the guests get to drink the entries once it's over. Have to be missing a few screws to try and steal some right now. So, can we drink some? Yeah, sure, let me pour you a glass. Of course we can't, idiota. Shame. You said you wanted to try some, right? If you pour yourself a glass, I won't snitch. As soon as the words leave his mouth, footsteps ring out from between some shelves around the corner. Hello, Lythanian? A Cabernet with a hood obscuring his face lowers his head as he walks through the shelves, heading for the stairs leading up. Soon enough, he has left the cellar. He's gone. Probably didn't hear us. From that distance, he wouldn't have even seen us. Long horns like that, gotta be a Cabernet. I figure he's with the orchestra. Why would an orchestra guy be down here at a time like this? We're going on in a minute, right? Maybe he's just calming his nerves. Got your own tics, you know? Every time you're holding your piece, you keep scratching at the safety with your nail. Kazata, I ain't done that in years. Hold up. Okay, so it's BS. Good to know. Domino shuts up the moment he hears more agitated footsteps. What the repressa? Whoa, excuse me. He's Cabernet? Appears from the shadows, following the echoing footsteps of the orchestra member from earlier. She too quickly leaves the cellar. This time, both Capone and Gambino saw suspicion on the blonde girl's face. Hey, I know that ragazza. She's the daughter of the lady who runs the orchestra. Give me my security pass. When was the last time I saw this many Cabernet in Siracusa? I figured the whole orchestra is from Lythania. What, you gonna say something like, just like the Sicilians? Nah, I was just thinking how Nova Volsini is getting too crowded. Quaranta, Cabernet, hell, if I came across an egg here on the street, I wouldn't even bat an eye anymore. I'm hoping for fewer strange-looking passengers through the door. Let's do one more lap around the cellar. Performance ought to be starting up there. Lapland where? The orchestra takes the stage and the lights dim once more. Strings begin with restrained gentle tones. Soon they are joined by the woodwinds. Though the melody can hardly be called brash, it serves as a vector to reveal the notes in their most perfect forms. The audience lifts their glasses, slowly swaying them along to the music. Leon Tuso sits in the front row, watching his neighbor Dimitri refuse yet another glass of red wine from an attendant. You come to a wine tasting and don't taste the wine. I just don't have an appreciation for the smell of that Kazimiersian's red wine. Got here earlier than I expected. I was invited, so I'm not allowed to drop by at the last second. Otherwise, it looked like I'm back to my old habits. Aren't you in the same situation, Mayor Bellone? Whenever you say old habits, it always makes me feel like you're bragging about the progress you've made. I'll take that as a compliment. You know me, I was never any good at picking out the condemnations between the praise. Tusu does not answer. Simply turns his head away from the stage and back towards Dimitri, his eyes falling on the bow tie around his neck. It's been too long since they last met. He's not sure just how much of Dimitri's current business-like demeanor is sincere. You look like a real businessman today, Dimitri. Not to your liking. There are a lot of things to my liking, but that doesn't mean I'm not worried. What about Nova Volsini? Is it going the way you hope it would? Worried about the city and the people who scurry around it? It's growing as I expected. You're the same as you ever were. You talk about order, but your eyes are fixed on the people. Hey, my hands are clean. What, scared I'm gonna take something from you? What scares me is you treating the city like your kitchen table. Give it a flip and everything on top will come crashing down to the ground. Then you'd better watch me closely, Leon. The closer you stick to me, the harder it'll be for me to mess up. Casimiro's businessman beside him, is clearly in a good mood. He stands up as the performance ends, lightly applauding as he signals the attendants to prepare the next step. I have to say, I love how you Nuova Volsinis know when to applaud and when to stay quiet. It's a rare thing. Most places, people make a ruckus when they should be silent and stay quiet when they should be clapping up a storm. I'd like to thank the orchestra for their marvelous performance. I'd also like to invite tonight's judge to come and witness our competition. A musician from Lithuania and a guest of this fair city, Frau Paula. As a woman unaffiliated with any wine dealer or familia, I think there's no one more suited for the job. The conductor on the stage gives a graceful nod to the audience before being guided by an attendant to the table of red wines at the front. Buonasera, everyone. I know only how to play music and conduct an orchestra, so I'm not very good at offering praise or pretty descriptions, but since I'm judging the finals, I promise. I will sample them all with care, then say what I feel as I drink them, truthfully. That's exactly why we chose you. Pretty descriptions. No, what we need are honest assessments. He lifts his hand, beckoning the attendants to fill 3 wine glasses from 3 decanters. Now then, let's begin. The 3 finalists come from different wineries and different terroirs, and they each have their own ambitions. The rules are simple. No looking at the labels, no listening to any stories, just pure flavor. If you will, Frau Paula. The tall musician nods, a serious look on her face as she lifts the first glass. She sniffs, sips, swallows, and stops. First glass sticks strictly to the standard. The aroma is unassertive, it does not rush the mouth. The fruity flavor is front-loaded and quickly restrained. You can tell that it avoids making any mistakes, not letting any one flavor linger for too long. All in all, a harmonious package. This is a wine I could offer to guests without worry. The second glass is very much like the locals. The alcohol makes itself known quickly, but not in an irritating way and without any sharp sensations. It's a little bold when entering the mouth with a direct sourness, the type that wouldn't ask for your opinion beforehand. It's the third glass that Paula savors as slowest. She takes a sip, but does not immediately swallow, letting the red wine linger on the tip of her tongue for a moment. Third glass. There's no brashness at the beginning, but the layering and the structure are very clear. It's not a crowd-pleasing sort of wine. It's as if it doesn't care if you enjoy it or not. It's not going to try and win you over. It knows its own path and it'll walk it to the end. It has attitude. An attitude I happen to like. Zarek turns to the audience and raises his hand as if he were already standing atop the podium. Now, Frau Paula, if you would pick which of the 3 glasses you believe is most worth remembering. The third, naturally. Zarek is practically already reaching up for the bottle behind the third glass. His voice is more excited than before, but he maintains his composure. Well, I think we all heard her. This wine is... You'd best check the label again. Otherwise, things might end up rather embarrassing for you. Pardon? Zarek freezes. He slowly looks down at the bottle. The moment he gets a clear look at the label, the smile on his face dies. But only for a moment. A moment so short that almost nobody can react. Once it passes, his rictus grin is plastered back onto his face. Rictus? Ooh, what is that? Like a natural opening of the mouth? What the? Alright. But only for a moment. It seems tonight's first surprise arrived earlier than I expected. Like you said, no leaning on stories, just the wine itself. I really must wonder though, how did the bottle of Golden Prairie transform into a wine that isn't on the list of finalists? Oh, I guess even Casimir's legendary business management systems aren't free from little mistakes like registration errors. Yes, just a little mistake. So I'll give a warm round of applause to the winner, Saluzo Vino. Your wine has earned our most stringent yet most objective praise. Grazie mille. I'm glad the words fair competition still applies tonight. It's a good thing for everyone involved. A good thing indeed. The winner will always predetermined, then business would be dreadfully boring. And the very reason I came to Nuova Bolsino was to get away from boring business. Let us toast to the champion, a local winery, and to this fair city. Salud. The attendants begin refilling the guests' glasses. Applause rings out once more enthusiastic than before. Applause that includes Leon Tusa's collaborator. Going to toast me, Leon? You know my palate isn't as refined as yours. Won't you introduce your winning wine before the toast? If you insist. This isn't a wine that needs much introduction. It's not trying to impress anyone or to prove anything with the first sip. It's most suited for when the dinner table's almost cleared out and most things worth saying have been said, but you're not quite ready to leave yet. That's when you notice there's still a glass of this left. It will be your final safeguard, making sure your words don't spill out onto the floor. To remind you of the past and make it easier to reach an agreement. If you think this is exactly the wine you need, it's already done this job. This wine has some grand ambitions. So it does. It's like what Frau Paula just said. Follows the path of his choosing without caring whether you like it or not. Since it chose this road, I've got nothing to say about whether I like it. Ding! Dimitri smiles but does not answer. He simply raises his glass, giving it a gentle clink against Leontuso's. Before the clink can fade away, a light incongruent cough makes itself heard from the other side of the stage. Paula's hand stops in midair, the glasses between her fingers trembling ever so slightly, as the wine leaves irregular streaks on the glass. Sorry. She wants to finish speaking, but all her subconscious lets her do is steady her breathing. Her second cough comes out sharp. She tries to lower her voice, but she cannot cover it up completely. The blonde girl who is always by her side is the first to notice the look on her face. Paula lifts her hand to prop herself up against the table, but she can no longer stand steady. Well, I mean, it does say red wine murder. The glass falls from her hand, letting out a muffled thump as it falls onto the carpet. Hey, it didn't break though. She falls forward. That's a bad sign, her body unable to support itself. Some cry out, some rise to their feet, and some reflexively take a step back. For the attendants in rush to the scene, she has already collapsed by the table, no longer breathing, her lips taken on an odd hue under the lights. The blonde girl babbles things like Paula and help her. Smile instantly disappears from Dimitri's face. Zarek stays standing, but does not speak. With the flash of chaos now over, the theater sinks into a surreal silence. Moments ago, they were toasting things like fairness, dignity, and victory. But now, nobody reaches for the wine on the table. Okay, I thought they were gonna end it just there. Oh. Crime scene investigation in. The disturbance did not last long. Thanks to the mayor and some municipal staff among the attendees, the situation is quickly reined in. Many people simply stand there, unsure if they should move closer or leave. Please remain calm, everyone. The medics are already underway. Before we clean up, I would like to ask you all to work with our security staff and not act on your own. Mayor Bellone, I must emphasize to both you and our guests that the wines underwent a strict auditing process. None of us wish to see anything like this happen, but we cannot allow rumors to spread. Leontusa stands to the side. He does not answer immediately. He looks at the table the attendants have moved away from the rest, and then at Dimitri, who still stands in the same spot. Dimitri says nothing. He does not approach, nor back away. He gently puts the wine glass he is holding down, which lets out the lightest of clinks as its foot meets the table. The noise prompts Zarek to continue. Something unexpected happened at the wine tasting. The label on the wine bottle does not match our registry. I don't believe this is an act of malice, but under the present circumstances, anything outside the standard process needs a clear explanation. The crowd's gazes wash over the scene like a wave before inevitably landing on Dimitri. If you're waiting for me to explain, then I'm afraid I'll have to disappoint. I'm as shocked as anyone else here, that something like this could happen. As for the bottle of wine, I was only responsible for its flavor and getting it to the theater in time. Anything else is none of my business. You are the young, promising head of a winery, but also the young, promising head of a gang, aren't you? You might be uninvolved, but you have plenty of minions to get involved for you. According to many eyewitnesses, Frau Paula suddenly fell to the ground after taking another drink from the bottle of Salusa Vino Red that mysteriously appeared. What sort of grudge was there between you two that led to this? Was it not enough that your wine won my championship? Did you want to ruin my business as well? Or did your familia bosses have your feuds and conspiracies in which you trample over us ordinary folk? Signor Zare, we do not know all the facts yet. Nuova Volsini has its own procedures, and this incident will be investigated accordingly. Since it was a public incident, the police will be involved. Before they announce the results, nobody, neither individual nor body corporate, should be making premature statements. Naturally, of course, we also hope the truth will come to light quickly. Otherwise, people will lose trust in Casimirian Reds. Perhaps even local Nuova Volsini's Reds as well. Mayor Bellone, death is not a welcome guest at my Red Wine Championship. I suspect at any wine meet. And I would prefer not to hear street corner rumors about how our Casimirian competition was drawn into familiar struggles, how we were powerless to resist, things like that. Surely you are aware that we businessmen Casimirs, along with our counterparts from Litania, Colombia, and nations even further afield, are only here in Nuova Volsini because of what kind of promises you've made. Zarek lowered his voice, but the reporters and cameramen invited the venue to capture the championship seems to have heard every word. Cameras are flashing much more frequently than they were. Under their glare, Dimitri steps forward. If you need me to comply with the investigation, then I won't run and hide. I will halt all activities until the results are in. Dimitri, as I said, I am begging everyone to avoid any rash actions until things have been cleared up. Well, I appear to be the prime suspect right now, so I will stay where I should stay and let the police do all the investigating they want. I ask that you do it all in accordance with the standard procedures you mentioned, Mayor Bellone. Right. I'll make the arrangements. The City Hall still need time to send the police. No need to trouble them then. My own hired security can escort Signor Bellone home. Oh, close up, goodness. The Antusa was looking at the red-haired Lupo's face earlier, trying to see if he could spot anything. The moment the wine glass fell to the floor, the smile on Dimitri's face vanished. Now it has returned, just barely perceptible. But it is only a smile. The Antusa is not sure if he should interpret it as, I won't embarrass you. I believe you can figure this out, or I made plans for this long ago. Before he can finish deciphering it, Dimitri is led to the exit, flanked by Capone and Gambino. As he passes by, their gazes meet for the shortest of instants before they are separated. Excuse me. The flashing lights of the reporters' cameras cascade across Dimitri's face. The Antusa instinctively turns away, composing himself before turning back to the foreigner who has seized this chance to pile on the pressure and demand more from him. Oh, it's still going, holy. How'd you put it? I beg your forgiveness, Don Dimitri. Did the rope chafe you? Excuse me. Nearly died trying not to laugh. He's the real power behind the Salusas in Nuova Volsini, and the new Don of the Bellones. Can't hurt to show him a little respect. Not to mention the tip he gave us. Hell, can't even call a while to cash this big a tip. A Don, but he still got pulled into that foreign money man scheme. Think that Casimirian pulled one over on him? I'm telling you, I think he spiked that drink on purpose, just to get in the middle of all this. Remember when we dragged him out of the theater? Man was as cool as a cucumber. Wise guys like him, who were born into the familia, they're good at this kind of scheming and used to it too. Who the hell knows, man? I don't give a shit. This is Nuova Volsini, not Sicilia. You and I both know how stupid dons can look when they fall from the top. Hey, you think those reporters got a photo of our taxi company's son when we were taking them out of that place? Buy a paper tomorrow and check for yourself. Maybe they'll only get the Siciliana part of it. Now that will be a joke. What? Mad? Fine, I'll drop it. Nah, it's not that. I just suddenly got the feeling that maybe Nuova Volsini is still a Siracusan city. There's been a lot of change here, but in the end, maybe nothing's changed at all. Or maybe when you push something that's never changed down a new track, some other stuff's gotta start popping up. Oh, they end with those two, okay. One done, 5 to go. Business acumen, who the heck are you? There's also a furry there. That'll be later, I guess. Ring ring. Scusa, Bettina. I'd love to help you, but I'm running a small business here too, you know? Those bottles I got from you last time are still on the wine rack gathering dust. Why not go ask the corner store? Alright, I'll go do that. Grazie, Zio Paolo. I already asked, actually. Nobody wants any. I gotta move all this out of the way first. If I keep standing around here like a fool, I'll affect Zio Paolo's business. What the? What? Oh, hello. Careful. That was close. Here, hold it tight now. Thank you, Signorina. Man, this is heavy. No wonder a little kid like you couldn't carry it right. What's in this? Oh, it's Verity. You know it? I'm Bettina, and this is from the very winery where my nonno works. The winery's got decades of history behind it. Would you like to buy a bottle, Signorina? Seed. Bettina, right? I guess it's fate I bumped into you, so let's make friends. I'm Tosia. Here, my card. Wow, cool. A business card? Sorry, I don't have one. Huh? Casimir's Golden Prairie Winery, Nuova Volsini branch, sales representative. I'm betting that before long, it'll say Senior Relationship Manager. But that's the thing, I'm afraid we're competitors, so I won't be buying your wine. Now, if you wouldn't mind scooching out of the way, little Miss Bettina, I have a great deal to make with Senor Paolo. Yoink! You've just arrived in Nuova Volsini. You've already talked to the locals into some huge deals. Excellent work. Come, Tosia. Today we give our top sales rep the welcome feast she deserves. You're too kind, Wuji Exotic. You've been busy getting the Red Wine Championship ready, so of course you didn't have time for dinner. I just hope I hadn't been much trouble. Not at all. I'm a lucky man, getting an experienced sales girl to join us at Golden Prairie. But I heard you were doing well at the Krziwi. Praiwi? Something. Domek department store. Why Nuova Volsini all of a sudden? It's a long story. Let me guess. It's something to do with that Silverlands Pegasus corruption case that's got Cavaleriel Key all abuzz lately. Though Zarek lowered his voice, the mention of the case has Tosia jerking her head upwards. How did you... I was told that the GCC sent agents to... Okay, I need to check if this is... Well, apparently it's called Kashiva. Domeka took one of your managers a few days ago. Your old manager, even. Guess there's no hiding anything from you. She took good care of me, but one of her relatives is a Silverlands Pegasus. One of the few elite mobs we haven't fought, I believe. It was a point of pride, but once the GCC started poking around, whenever they can't directly move against Adeptus Sprawiedliwi, they take the people around there for a question. And more people kept getting involved in the case. Some poor souls get the entire books thrown at them, even though anyone with eyes can see they're totally innocent. If normal folk like us get pulled into this kind of trouble, are we supposed to resist giants like the GCC? That's why I thought it'd be better to come here and expand. Tosia, Golden Prairie would not have grown this large in Nuova Volsini without behind-the-scenes support from the GCC. When the big shots show some initiative and want to expand their horizons, that is a good thing for business people like us. You're right. Let's not think too much about Cavalierarchy while we're here. Just keep your enthusiasm flowing and do a good job. My business is growing. Only good for you, no? I'll thank you in advance, would you, exotic? Clever girl. I won't belabor the point then. I've already ordered the food, just need to know what you want to drink. Sorry for putting all that on you. Honestly, I'm not too good at handling wine. Let me see. Alright, I'm looking for a certain brown-colored soft drink. I think it's a local Siracusan brand. Tastes like orange with a bit of bitterness. Do you mean Chinoto, Signorina? I am terribly sorry, but we don't carry that one. Where did you even learn of that old beverage? Since we put out our soft drink line, the local brands have pretty much all died out. Huh? Really? Did you forget our slogan, Tosia? Nova Volsini, Vita Nuova. Leave the retro nostalgia to the Lythanians. How about some zero-proof sparkling water? Sure. Let's go with that then. Good, good. Oh, almost forgot. Come, I want to show this to you. It's a shelf display agreement. Just a draft template. I was hoping to hear what our top sales representative thought before we deployed it. It's very clear on the criteria and the rewards are generous. There shouldn't be too many retailers who decline. What if they do accept? It means they can only display our products while the agreement is in force. Would an exclusivity clause like that create legal issues under local law? There's nothing in the new Urban Management Act that says we can't have one. The way I see it, those loopholes with their heads full of dreams and trade won't see any issues with it. Zarek shrugs. A smile of victory on his face. But it's you frontline employees who will be taken to the retailers, not me. I'm eager to see how you do when the time comes, Tosia. Thank you for waiting. Your zero-proof sparkling water, Signorina. Come to Nova Volsini and to Vita Nuova. Nazdrawi. Okay, hold up. What does that mean? Okay, so apparently is Nazdrovye. Oh my goodness. Maybe I can check the names of the corpos as well, but yeah, it basically just means to health, bless you, and stuff like that. I would never let you down. Okay, you know what? I'll check this. Okay, so apparently it's Vujek Charek. Got it. Oh yeah, it's Char. Why didn't I even see that? I'm an idiot. Nazdroye. Dink. Clink. Oof, I'm stuffed. Chef's selection. Seriously? Tiny portions and way too much fuzz. After shoving the last piece of pizza into her mouth, Tosia brushes the crumbs off her hands and continues her walk back to her place alongside the night breeze. The street is lit up in vibrant colors by a chaotic mix of billboards shining as bright as day. This nightscape is breathtaking, but it could not be more different from the Siracusa Tosia imagined. Shelf display agreement, more like shelf monopoly agreement. Got 'em! It's going to get a whole lot of people fired, maybe even bankrupted, won't it? Like that kid from before. Once the agreement's signed, she won't be able to sell her wine no matter how much legwork she puts in. But it's got to be done. Those Victorians and Colombians aren't going to let an opportunity this big slip, even if we did. Huh? Oh, it's you, the lady from this morning. How's it going? Managed to sell any? You're still carrying the same bottles, aren't you? Yeah. You're a really good saleswoman, right, Senora Tosia? Can you... Nope. Huh? But I didn't even get to ask. Want me to teach you a trick or two, right? I can read it on your face. Anyway, no can do, no way. But why? Despondency and incomprehension on the girl's face forced a long sigh out of Tosia. How old are you, Bettina? I'm 10 next week. Oh my god. 10, huh? Whoa. Alright, let me put this in a way you can understand. Listen, I know having to make a living at your age isn't easy. If things were different, I wouldn't mind helping you out. I only got to where I am today thanks to the help of others. Favor is an investment, not a cost. But here's the problem. There's only so much wine one Nova Volsinian can drink in a day. You're selling Verdi, I'm selling Golden Prairie. We're business rivals. Enemies even. Of course, in a situation like this, some people would drop any cost-benefit analysis and choose to help a helpless little kid like you. But that's not me. Because I'm a woman with a heart of stone. The business world is a battlefield. Helping your enemy is just stabbing yourself in the back. I've set my mind on flying up the ranks and living the good life, and I'm not going to be soft on my foe just because she's a kid. You got that? Yep. The face of a killer. Wait. What are these, actually? And why does she have a mini crossbow with a scope? Got it. Good, I'm off then. You keep at it. Am I too harsh on her? Can't blame me for it. That black-hearted uncle of mine is obviously trying to use pie-in-the-sky promises to trick me into doing his dirty work. If I want to find my footing here, I don't have time to get involved in other people's business. But she's not crying, is she? Let's just turn around and get a quick look. Just one look. Drew said, as if grieving. Grabs all the bridge railing. Stands on top of railing. As if about to jump. Whoa, 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 wait. Don't just throw your life away like that. What? Made it. Good thing I got quick reflexes. Kids these days have no mental fortitude. I'll teach you, okay? Seriously, even when my performance was in the gutter and I was homeless and living under a bridge, eating thrown out fries, things weren't that bad. I mean, that's pretty bad. You're young. You got plenty of time ahead of you. As long as you're alive, there's hope. Even if things are hard now, you need to believe things will get better. Why are you looking at me like that? I think you misunderstood something, Signorina Tosia. I was trying to say pane. Over there, on the other side of the railing. It's so naughty, wandering off like that. So you weren't trying to? Thank goodness. I guess I looked really stupid trying to calm you down just now, worried as I was. But even if you were trying to save it, you didn't need to go over the railing, you know? That's dangerous. But my arms aren't long enough. Where's the dog doing? Alright, fine. Out of the way. You better not bite me, pane. Bite. Oh, hello. We're back here. Sono molto grata, Bettina. If you hadn't brought my bambino back to me, why, I don't know what to do. We'll head back home now. Say ciao to Bettina, pane. Okay, ciao, Signor Bianca. Wait, Bianca is the truck driver union? Right? Huh? Wait, aren't you going to ask her? Ask her what? About the wine. I feel like getting sales through personal connections is rather high cost, low efficiency, but any port in the storm. Definitely beats starving. Didn't you help her find pane so she would buy your wine? Huh? Don't tell me you did it out of the goodness of your heart. Am I misunderstanding something? Is your family not in big trouble? Doesn't that matter if this stuff sells? No, of course it matters. I just want to help sell the wine. Nono says sales have been getting worse and worse lately, and if we can't make enough this month, the winery will have to close. What should I do? You said you'd teach me. What? When did I say that? Kids these days have no mental culture. I'll teach you, okay? Got him. I was always wide-eyed with this woman. Oh, I guess I did. Though I thought you were going to... I'm not trying to wiggle out of what I said, but take a good look at your product. Cheap local wines like your Verdi are the worst performance in the current market. Outdated production facilities, careless cost control, old-fashioned marketing. While Golden Prairie offers some better quality budget wines, and they are only half the price. Only a fool would pick the other option. The winery your Nonna works for is doomed. My advice to him is to start looking for a new job sooner rather than later. With that face. But the adults all say there's no such thing as an unsellable product, only salespeople who can't sell it. I know Verdi is hard to sell. Is it so bad that not even you could sell it, Signorina Tosia? First you trick me into giving you advice, then you go for a psychological tactic. Got moves. Trick. But I won't fall for it, hehe. Don't have to get mixed up in your problems to prove myself. Last year's sales start, God, I already forgot, hold on. Peshova Domek Department Store and the future top salesperson at Golden Prairie. There's nothing I can't sell. That's right, absolutely nothing. Alright, since you talked your way this far, allow me to teach you a thing or two. With my secret sales technique, forget selling a few bottles, you'll be selling crates by the dozen. What's this technique? Does it have to do something with the crossbow? Alright, tell me the story. Why is it you haven't sold a single bottle yet? Sorry, I know how hard it was for you to find free time to teach me, but I sniffed. I can't afford a day off. I can't afford a day off. I built enough of a lead on second place. Gotta leave myself some room for improvement next month. The important thing is, you're my apprentice. How can you be getting stuck like this? Are you really doing things the way I taught you? I did my best to use the words you taught me, but things like the wine is full body with exquisite balance and a lively zing. I don't understand what they mean at all, so how am I supposed to pretend I do when talking to people? And then saying things like our wine comes from a winery with deep historical roots. We just use grapes from our own vineyard. Isn't this misleading? Nana said we should put ourselves in other people's shoes and be sincere when dealing with them. That way everyone will trust us. It's the only way to get a good deal that everyone's happy with, so I knew it. Listen to me. Your playbook is outdated. You're being sincere, but other people aren't necessarily going to be sincere back. Gullible idiots get swindled and lose everything. Even if they put it all on the line to make some cash, they just burn themselves out. You'll see when you find yourself in a desperate situation. Then you'll look around and see no one ready to lend you a hand. Sincerity means nothing in the face of profit. You can't entrust your survival to anyone else. We need to be smart, or we'll get gobbled up. Hear me? I don't know. The sight of the girl with her head lowered, clutching at her clothes, makes Tosia decide to lighten up a bit. Look, I'm not saying you need to become a swindler yourself. You just need to package it a little nicer, that's all. Package it? Yep, like using a ribbon to tie a pretty bow and putting it in a nice bag. There we go. Looks much more presentable than before. You might have already noticed, but there's a huge change coming to the wine racks of Nova Volsini. Used to be that they'd only stock a few types of wine, but now you can easily find Pinot Noirs from Victoria, Cabernet Sauvignons from Colombia, Sweet Roses from Bolivar. It's a miracle for sure, but can you see where the issue lies when you lift up your glass? This miracle was born from stringent production criteria and carried all across Terra in cargo containers. They're appropriately priced and are stable in quality, but what they lack is soul. Wine isn't meant to lack personality like a fast food burger. Put those dime a dozen industrial goods back on the shelf and look at the premium gold labeled Sangiovese in my hand. The product of craftsmanship honed over decades at the local Siracusan winery. A unique flavor with a lingering aftertaste. One sip will delight the mind, 2 sips will bring good health. I'd like one. Will this be enough? Travel-stained man. Huh? What? Aren't you two selling wine? I'm pressed for time, so give it here quick. How do I look? You look perfectly fine. Where's the fire, senor? I find myself needing to meet someone, but it's our last minute. I didn't expect them to be in Nova Volsini, and in my rush I wasn't able to prepare a gift. Luckily, I ran into you. Grazie mille, signorina. I hope your business goes well. Senor, wait! Damn, he's fast. I was only trying to give you an example. Didn't expect there to be anyone crazy enough to actually buy it. Probably a foreigner since he didn't recognize the wine. He gave us enough to buy a ton of Verdi. This is great though, we finally sorted our first bottle. How about a high five? But, why the long face? Selling something is a victory, even if it was a misunderstanding. It's his own fault for not studying up. But he did look like he was really in a rush. Must be a really important meeting. Hey kid, show up with a bottle of cheap wine in Siracusa, what happens? So that's why we're really sorry. Here's your money back. Please, use it for some other gift. This isn't a high-quality wine. It's just a bottle of Verdi, right? So that's why you two were chasing after me in a panic. You know it? How could I not, considering all the years I've drank? I was born in Sorrento, and many years ago I had a falling out with my family. In my anger, I ran off to Colombia. You can laugh if you want. My Siracusan is a little rusty these days. But if you knew, then why did you... If I brought a fancy foreign wine as a gift, I'm afraid my papa would slam the door in my face. The meeting is with your own family. I didn't know they moved here. I saw them while I was out on the street. Nearly didn't recognize them. But once felt like the biggest deal in all of Siracusa, now barely feels important at all. All these years, I've had no contact at all. It's time I finally dropped by. My family was not well off, so we had Verdi with dinner. I don't know why Papa never tired of it. I hope that once he sees this bottle, he'll let me in. So there's been no misunderstanding here. A bottle of common ordinary Verdi, wrapped with care, appeared in front of me precisely when I needed it. And for that, I am willing to pay this price. If it still weighs on your conscience, then why not offer me a good luck as a bonus? Sure, best of luck to you. Well, isn't that swinging? Never thought I'd see the day I chased down the buyer to get my product back. You're looking chipper. Happy now? Mm-hmm. When I tell Nono, he's gonna say I made a good deal. Then how about a high five? Yay! She looks so psycho. No time to rest on your laurels, though. We've only sold one bottle. You can't count on more happy accident. Excuse me, are you Bettina? This looks like a Laterana citizen, by the way. Without the wings and halos. I am. Who might you be, Senora? Well, actually, maybe it's post Master's Travels Laterana? Finally found you. Miss Bianca says you sell traditional Siracusan red wine. Is that right? I'm planning to open a Siracusan restaurant in Victoria, and I might consider bringing a few such items back with me to introduce your product. Oh, you mean, a golden opportunity is knocking, Bettina. Don't just stand there. The important part is putting your marketing skills to good use next. So remember what I taught you. Sirenia Tosia? Never mind, kid. You graduated. Just forget everything I said. It's better you do things your way. Tosia watches the girl and the young man move to the curb, listing out the gains and losses in her head out of habit. A Siracusan restaurant, even if he's looking for a local wine, you'd make more profit if you went for something a couple grades higher than Verdi. Well, it's all about what the buyer thinks in the end. Just gotta hope he signs a long-term agreement, though even if he does, it's still a drop in the bucket. This label isn't going to escape bankruptcy or acquisition that easily. A conversation nearby seems to pause for a moment. The girl turns to Tosia, jumping and waving her hands, a bright smile plastered all over her face. Looks like things are going well. Whatever, as long as she's happy. 1 week later, I've spoken with Mr. Roger and he approves of your idea. He simply has some hesitation about getting involved and is worried about the risks. No rush. The Adeptus... Okay, let me see if I can pronounce this one. Okay, so apparently it's Adeptus Pravidli. So the W's are V's, just like German, I guess, ish. We lose right now, but this doesn't mean things will go the way GCC planned. We may be backed by the GCC right now, but we need to make our own preparations. No matter which of these titans lets something slip through its fingers, we shall enjoy a sumptuous feast. We are not the only ones waiting to get a slice of the pie. We simply need to be ready and wait for the perfect wave to carry us aloft. Oh ho ho! Look who it is! Our shining star of the market finally arrives. Sales tells me you got quite a few local retailers to sign our shelf display agreement, so I thought we should celebrate. Thanks. It was just like you said, not much resistance where we were talking. I meant to have this celebratory dinner yesterday, but my secretary told me you were busy with something. I made friends with a local girl these past few days. She invited me to her home for dinner. Sorry, I know you don't splurge often. Why apologize? This is great. For foreigners in Nova Volsini. Only by understanding the Siracusans can we empty their pockets. It seems my lovely niece has some tricks up her sleeve. You always know exactly why you do things. That's what I like the most about you. Come, na zdravi. I think you've misunderstood something. Oh my god. Wujek Charek. I didn't go to this kid's place to fish for some information. It was just to sing her happy birthday. Oh, is that so? Glasses filled with first-rate red wine freezes in midair, while the young lady on the other side of the table gives him a smile. Her family's as ordinary as can be, even brought all their furniture in from the countryside. A family that's the complete opposite to our Nuova Volsini Vita Nuova. I did manage to get one piece of good news there, though. Look! Osia pulls out a soft drink in a glass bottle, resting it on the pure white satin tablecloth. Chare cannot help but laugh. You're here to eat dinner, you know. Why bring your own drink? This is the chinota I asked about last week. The family says there are still grocers in the city who sell it. I'm not sure if you remember, but my tata often went to Siracusa for work. Every time he came back, he'd bring some snacks and toys for me. My favorite was this drink, and I'd always beg him to bring more back next time. It would have been way too heavy now that I think about it. Well, you know what happened next. He lost his job, so I didn't get to drink chinota anymore, naturally. Toss your prize off the cap, the soft drink in the brown glass bottle, letting out a cheerful hiss. I've always wanted to try it again. I'm starting to think that if these old-fashioned things really did disappear, it would be a real shame. Na zdravi. Vujek Charek. Kostya lifts up the bottle, knocking it against a wine glass. Honestly, that zero-proof sparkling water from last week, not my cup of tea, no offense. Ooh. Well, we got a new person, Kostya. For some reason, potential NPC. Aren't you Bianca? Oh my god, I am missing out. And I'm assuming this is where we're gonna see who poisoned? I mean, she was with... I'm not sure with. She was like trailing the Lethanian Spirecaster. But then, let's go to the furry and witness. Who is this? Never really seen full-on furry for like 10,000 years. Elio. Lupina, here's the bill of lading for this order of your winery's grapes by Salusa Vino. You can look over the details. Lupina, let me see. Everything seems to be in order. You're always on top of things. I'm flattered. Lupina, there's something which I'm not sure I should ask in my position. Why the formality? Go ahead, Zio Elio. We've known each other for so long. Ever since Casimirian wine entered the market, you've been running a surplus of grapes at your winery, which has been good for us. Your prices are reasonable and it helps us clear inventory. It's a deal that benefits both sides. Yes, but the amount that you're offering in this batch, is it too much for you? No. We use all the grapes we can get, but are you leaving any for your own wine production? You can tell. Lupina. Golden Prairie approached us a little while back. They offered to buy the Verdi winery, and they made an offer I couldn't refuse. The winery is going under, despite our best efforts. At least Golden Prairie's interest shows that our equipment and vineyards are worth something. Thank you for everything, Zio Elio. Salusa Vina has always been a good partner to the Verdi winery. But what about the other guides? Davide. What about Nicolo? Did they agree? That's me. I'll convince them. And hence why she said the monopoly agreement. No, Lupina, how could we sell our Verdi winery to the Casimirians? Is this, Unk? Calm down, Nicolo. Let's sit down and talk about this. There's wine and there's food. What's that? Our signature wine, Sangiovese. You know it well, don't you? What is this? It's some sort of like... I thought it was like a dagger or something, but it had like a... It's like a pointing instrument. Yes, I remember this label. Old Verdi. Your nonno painted it himself. I was raising the grapes when he first developed this wine. Trimmed them vine by vine myself. The clippers were heavy and unwieldy, especially in winter when you're out all day in the cold. But it was worth it. These vines are older than all of us put together. In Kazimierz, they trim their vines with machines and they can go through a whole vineyard in a single day. It's not the same. Those stupid machines rip the vines apart. It may save time in the short term, but the grapes don't have long to live once they're done with them. They don't know how to trim along the grain of the vine, ensuring that the fruits get proper sunlight and develop the right flavor. You kids don't know the old Siracusan crap, and no one wants to learn anymore. The Siracusan wine is unique because every vine is as old as the familia. Caring for a grapevine is like caring for a family. At least, it was for your nonno. Nicolo. Think about it, Lupa. Every grape in Verdi winery is picked from a vine older than your nonno. Workers like us have spent our whole lives picking grapes, carrying barrels, making wine. My son inherited my craft. Even my granddaughter is selling wine for the winery. Where will we go if the winery is sold? I'll make sure everyone is taken care of. Your skills won't go to waste. Would the family we've built here still exist? After the winery is sold and all the workers have gone their separate ways? To me, it's better to die with dignity now than to continue to try to scrape by Nuova Volsini. Give it a decent ending while this land still has value. Severance will be paid according to our contract terms. Not the severance I'm worried about. You were never all that interested in running the winery, but Don't you feel anything for this place old Verdi kept running all those years? Nono wouldn't want his winery to go bankrupt. It's not such a bad thing to find a new home for it. This is Nuova Volsini, Niccolo, and it's time to accept the new order. The old worker stays silent for a while. Finally, he takes out an invitation from his pocket and puts it on the table. What's that? My granddaughter Betty turns 10 next week. We do this by the old rules of Siracusa. She's 10 already? I'll have to. I'm leaving. Oh. Well, there goes Bettina's papa. And or uncle. I forgot. At a small, unremarkable home in a quiet alley, it is already late when Lupina arrives. Warm light greets her as she opens the door. Hey, Emperor. Knew I'd find you here. This is my private bar. You always find me here when I'm free. Here, your usual. 1 tramonto with extra orange juice, less syrup, and 6 cubes of ice. I thought you'd be busier. The Kazimierzian Red Wine Championship is in just a few days. Golden Prairie sent out an invitation to all the local wineries. Okay, so we're seeing flashback. We're not really in a position to participate, but I suppose you'll be there? It's a marketing opportunity, no matter who's organizing it. Yes, it is an opportunity. But I've made the necessary arrangements. I don't need to be there personally for the rest. You prefer to hide here and mix drinks at your leisure. Just a little hobby of mine. You have your hobbies too, don't you? Would you care to check the drum set over there for me, my dear Vintner? He sits down in the drummer's chair and starts banging out a lively rhythm. Her foot stomps steadily on the cymbal pedal, while the movements of the drumsticks in her hand are clean and confident. Se muoio in guerra, seppellitemi con un fiorno, versa le lacrime di mamma, sulla mia tomba con vino. A song that every Syracusan child knows. You brought it to Nuova Volsini. An arrangement. The original is too melancholic for this occasion. The streets are filled with vibrant Kazimierzian wine ads, so Syracusan must learn to read the room. Maybe not all the time. Elia told you about our winery. That's what you're here for. What's your plan? The Kazimierzians are coming to audit the assets tomorrow. I've already signed a letter of intent to sell. There weren't many workers left by the time Papa took over from Nonna. There's no point in carrying on. Traditional winemaking methods are time and labor intensive. The winery was operating at a loss by the time Papa passed it to me. A shame, but since you've already made your decision, what do you need from me? It's not like you hesitate. The remaining workers, they're all skilled veterans. They'll do well no matter where they go. Saluzzo Vino has dozens of wineries under your label. There must be places that could use a pair of skilled hands. I'm trying to force them on you. I know the Familias rules. You'll be doing me a huge favor, one that I'm not in a position to repay. Just give them a chance, check them out and assign them based on your assessment and needs. Nothing to be nervous about. It's only natural that you'd want to take care of your family, and I do need to hire more hands. Grazie. All's well with the workers, but what about you? Me? I guess I'll chase my dreams in music. Excuse me? Frankly, I think I'm a much better drummer than I am a vintner. The faint nonchalance is accompanied by a series of drum riffs. They echo in this little private bar, never leaving the room. I can't. I can't just... Who's there? Elio, you still here? Let me help. You okay there? So quiet, I can hear the ringing in my ears. This used to be a lively place. The sounds of footsteps, barrels rolling, metal and glass clanging against each other, bubbles sizzling while grapes ferment. Now, it's all... There is only silence left. Pina slowly walks past the warehouse, the cellar, the vat. She knows this may be the last time she makes these checks. Her hand touches the antiquated equipment, the marks of age. The handle of the presser falls off the screw. Huh? No, the Casimirshan auditor is coming soon. How could my equipment break at a time like this? Oh, this stubborn old stuff. Gotta screw it back. Ought to be just like a light bulb. It's stuck. Lupina. Davide? Good timing. Come, help me fix this thing. The vertical screw is completely stripped. It won't go back on. GG. I was just going to tell you. I was doing my regular checks when I found a problem with the filtration system's hydraulic cylinder. It's cracked and can't maintain hydraulic pressure. Hello. Lupina, the Casimirshians are here. Tonks going down by the second. Why is it always this guy? A fine classic villa, Signorina Verdi. The wolf's head on the wine barrels is quite detailed, and even the stone tiles in the cellar are tastefully ornamented. It was my grandfather who painted them. Shall we discuss what to do with your family's artwork? Would you like us to remove it intact and return it to you? Or include it in the purchase? Remove it. Since the paintings on the tiles are the work of your late grandfather, we can arrange for an art preservation expert to remove them for you should you wish. I assure you they will not be damaged. Oh, then yes, please. The expert's fee will be at your own expense, of course. I knew it. Fine, I'll pay. Just make sure the tiles are removed intact and undamaged. Shall we proceed to the next item? Alright. Crusher, fermentation tank, presser, thermostat, filtration system. You have a full complement of winemaking equipment. Yes, it was my grandfather who procured it. They were the most popular models at the time. Very durable. Your grandfather? That was a while ago then. Still, it works well. Please, come and see our crusher. This machine crushes grapes with minimal loss. My grandfather retrofitted it with extra wide rollers, increasing production by... There seems to be an issue with the sealing ring on the machine's connector, if I'm not mistaken. Equipment assessment is not my specialty, but I am under the impression that the sealing ring should not be exposed. Your thermostat. I took note of the temperature reading when I passed it. The temperature seems suboptimal for winemaking. Well, yes, the equipment may be a little old, but our workers maintain it regularly and we have all the necessary spare parts on hand. We can get it repaired quickly. It will not affect the delivery. Ah, that's what you're concerned about. There is no need to be worried. Your equipment was not included in our initial assessment. Traditional Siracusan equipment is inefficient and incompatible with our production lines. We did not intend to keep it to begin with. You may dispose of it as you see fit. This includes the oaken casks in the warehouse that you showed me. These handmade casks create uncontrolled impurities in the storage process, which are detrimental to quality control for mass-produced wine. You don't use oaken casks? We have replaced traditional oaken casks with steel containers, which have better hermetic properties and are more responsive to temperature control. It'll lose a lot of flavor. Merda. Sound like my nono. That will be a question for our inspector to worry about. I suggest you focus on whether the offer meets your expectations. I assure you that you have nothing to worry about. It is the land on which your winery sits that we are interested in. We will offer a fair price for it. We get a plot of excellent land while you receive a reasonable payment in turn. It's a win-win agreement. I will document the results of the audit, then our legal representative will contact you to finalize the contract. Please reach out to her if you have any questions. Would you like to try a sip? If I recall correctly, we bought out Ready Winery's inventory last month as you were in urgent need of liquidity to make payroll. There will be no need to see me out. Have a nice day, Signorina Verdi. As Emirjan leaves the winery with his briefcase, takes one glance at the lonely vineyard and gets into a black car that has been waiting for him outside. It takes a long while until the sound of the car's engine is long gone for Lupina to come to her senses. It's over. Nona's winery sold just like that. I thought they would care more about our traditions and equipment. Nicolo. The presser and crusher, the thermostat and filtration system. I was the one who broke them. I know, I'm not here to blame anyone. You've been here so many years. I doubt you thought breaking a few pieces of equipment would stop the purchase. I just hope that they would stay. The pipes, Elio. He did something else. I wanted to stop him, but I understand your anger. What's done is done. The auditor didn't find it. There's no reason for us to tell them. Lupa. I wasn't much of a businesswoman, but I know how to tell a good guy from a bad one. That drunk papa of mine wasn't even born when he started working at the winery with my nono. You know, he used to measure my height with his presser. See the lines on the cylinder? It's for the best that it broke. At least it couldn't be sold. Verdi Winery was my entire life. I watched every new bottle go out the door, saw us weather one storm after another. I thought my granddaughter, or maybe my granddaughter's granddaughter, would get to see the new bottles going out. Didn't think it would end this way. Continue the old ways won't protect them. Maybe this is for the best. Is there anything else I can do? His son would like you to come to his daughter's 10th birthday party with a bottle of wine her age, as is tradition. And take good care of this winery until it really changes hands. Miyokaro Lupa. Okay, so it's her grandfather. My dear Vintner, I would very much appreciate if you would pay a visit to my private bar. You may help yourself to my collection. He told me to come, but he's nowhere to be found. People in Siracusa die every day. How's that enough to shut him up at home? And he wants his guests to mix their own drinks. Well, yeah, a lot. It's been a long time since I've done it. What was it that Nona said? Oh, get the old school filter. Oh, we get the OG. Winemaking is a slow and gradual process. The wine begins to gain its unique flavor during fermentation, and the family slowly brought together. Sometimes, wines and juices of different flavors are mixed together before being presented for tasting. No, you're too young to drink. Are you using Lupa? That's a paintbrush, not a drumstick. I'm not done painting yet. Yes, you can play with it once I'm done. Look, this is our vineyard. This big wolf head is me and the small one is you. You want to paint a couple of brushes too? 2 drumsticks. My. Miyokara Lupa sure has her own ideas. You want to be a musician, the most rhythmic drummer on Terra? Then Nono's gonna be the best painter on Terra. No, I'm not angry, see? I'm painting right now, on a wine bottle. I'll take you to the cellar when it gets warmer and decorate the walls. I've wanted to do this for a long time. It took years just for the idea to take shape. I want you to both inherit the winery and have the freedom to become a musician. Your family should not make you give up your dreams. Guess it's come to this, Nono. I couldn't even come up with a bottle from this year. Maybe a bit of music to lift the mood. The drummer walks to the instrument. There's a finely wrapped gift box on the stool on which she had often sat. She lays down her drumsticks, opens the ribbon, wrapped gift box, and finds a bottle of wine within. The label features 2 wolf's heads by the grapevines, one large, one small, with 2 drumsticks by the ears of the smaller wolf drawn with childish lines. The label says, Verdi, pen 92. The drummer lays her hand on the bottle gently, then puts it back inside the box and takes up the drumsticks. The sound of song begins to echo through the bar. Simuyo in guerra, sepeli temi con un fiorino. Versa le lacrime di mamma, sulla mia tomba convino. Well, R.I.P. Verdi, it seems. Will she be, another NPC in with Tosia. Tosia, or however you pronounce her name. Crash. Of course it says Crash. With the truck drivers. For a long time afterwards, Irene thought back to her hesitation that night every time she drove her truck alone. The sky is completely dark by the time the truck stops at the edge of Port Square. She does not turn off the engine. The vibration is transmitted to her wrists by the steering wheel. before gradually subsiding. She called Lavinia on her way, saying she has something to discuss. Okay, so she's Irene. I don't know what to do, Lavinia. Irene mutters in the driver's seat, but she cannot bring herself to finish the sentence. You're the only one I can count on. Is she really the only one? Irene spends a few moments in bitter silence as raindrops splash her face through a gap in the window. Excuse me. Turns off the engine. Yep, Truckers Union. Made more money on one trip than I did in the last 2 weeks combined. The Casimirians pay well. Showing off, makeup payments for this week alone wipe out the whole trip's margin for me. I don't hear you talking about the heavy fines the Casimirians levy. Thanks for helping to pay my share. Now that I've gotten paid, how much do I owe you? Don't worry about it. Brothers help each other out. Right you are. I'll save a portion and do my part next time someone gets fined. Saving is the right move. Original fuel prices are rising. I was just at the station and boy did it hurt to watch the numbers go up and up and up. I did run into a bloke from Liotti Pharmacy at the fuel station who lent me his discount card. I should bring him a pack of smokes next time I go by their shop. Really? As long as Irene doesn't catch you hang out with a wise guy. Hang out with who? No, it's nothing. Ciao, Irene. Haven't seen you in a while. I think I'm going to break your delivery record soon. Great. As a reward, you get the transportation security paperwork from the Agencia per la Sicurezza dei Trasporti. Huh, anything but the AST. Anyway, it's time for me to go to my next job. Adopo. He's right. We haven't seen you in camp for a while. Have you gotten thinner? Gotta take care of your health or Summer will never forgive us. Don't change the subject. What are we chatting about? It's nothing really. Oh, come on. When will you and Sam learn? Where is Sam anyway? I didn't see him anywhere in camp and his schedule's empty for a few days. Where is he? He's been sick. Fever, vomiting, diarrhea, the whole shebang. Had to go home and lie down after last night's delivery. Gianni's taking his order for today. The Casimirian docs pay for days off, you know? But to find a sub if we've got one. Hold up. ... Never mind. I'll go get the doctor to look at him. Did you need him for something? Irene irritably shakes the object in her hand. Makes a swooshing sound. The package is obviously wine bottle shaped. Never mind the Siracusa Vino logo displayed prominently on it. Why did Siracusa Vino send us a bottle of wine? I would have thought that one of you dropped the delivery in the mailroom. If the package didn't have Sam's name on it. Oh, that's probably a moving gift for Sam's cousin's family. Moving gift? When his cousin's family first came to Nuova Volsini, Senor Dimitri, helped out. I think he mentioned he sent a bottle of wine as a moving gift. It's just a little wine, Irene, and it's not for him. Sam quit drinking, you know that. I know, I'm just wondering how Senor Bellone knew about Sam's cousin. And you, Ruggiero, I was planning to go shopping at your little supermarket a few days ago and find that it's become a Siracusa Vino outlet. Since when have you gotten so friendly with each other? I rented it to them. Turns out managing a whole supermarket was more trouble than it's worth. I figured I was better off driving trucks. Were you in some trouble I didn't know about? Something that you couldn't tell me but you were comfortable telling the Mafia? It's not that, Irene. When will you understand? Small favors are favors too. And all favors have to be repaid someday with interest. But they're just helping us right now. Are they? The Red Wine Championship starts in a few days. Is it not obvious why Siracusa Vino sent a moving gift right now? It's just a bottle of wine at this point, but what about later? Mafia money? The Familia's name? Will he go back to working for them like he used to? If you're worried about history repeating itself, I promise you it won't. Besides, under Nuova Volsini's new order, even if you don't trust me, you should trust the mayor and Judge Lavinia. It's not that I don't trust them, it's just... Never mind. Don't forget what happened at the Carnivale. Avoid dealing with the Familie. You may think that they're just ordinary employees and shopkeepers, but everything they do is under the watchful eyes of the wise guys. I know it was traumatic for you, as it was for all of us. But things have changed for the Saluzos. Venezia Jr. is gone. It's a new era of leadership. Ruggiero is interrupted by the sound of his phone ringing. Irene says nothing. She shakes her head and turns around to leave. Ruggiero hears an urgent voice as soon as he picks up the phone. Ruggiero, I can't reach Sam. What do I do? Come to the vehicle checkpoint at Dock 2, because Emergents say they're slapping on an extra fine and I just can't get them to listen to me. What? Seeing Ruggiero's anxiety, Irene gestures for him to pass the terminal. It's me. What's going on? Irene? Oh, I'm so glad you're there. Sam's been running a fever, so I swapped shifts with him. This run just happened to be on the way to my order, but the Casimirs changed the delivery destination at the last minute, and I didn't make it in time. I tried to explain, but this Casimirshan doesn't seem to understand what I'm saying. He keeps saying I broke the contract and he's demanding I pay a fine. Please hurry, Irene. The print on the contract is tiny and thick, and I can't make sense of it. I'm on my way. Beep beep. Surely you can make an accommodation. It was your side that changed the delivery address at the last minute. Why should the driver pay a penalty? Commissioner, all orders are logged in our system and our adjustments are made according to the published schedule. Drivers bear responsibility for any shift changes they make themselves. But the contract makes it quite clear. Exceptions compromise our ability to enforce our contracts in the future. Continuing this argument does neither of us any good. The driver doesn't leave now based on road conditions and the published schedule. You may be held in substantive breach of the contract, resulting in a fine equal to 15% of the order. It will also be your 7th penalty of the month. Therefore, the windows for any subsequent orders will be tightened accordingly. Well, Irene cannot recall what she saw in the forced smile that Gianni offered her. Was it regret or apology? Gianni departed promptly upon hearing the foreign businessman's kind words, before Irene could intervene, muttering a few words of self-encouragement to himself. I can't just let it go like this, thought Irene. Back already, Irene? How did things go with Gianni? Did we keep a copy of the Casimirshan contracts at the camp? Bring it to me. What's going on? The terms. Something's not right. There are certain parts that don't seem reasonable. We need to talk it over with their people. Gianni's trouble hasn't been resolved, has it? No. But I'll take care of it. I knew it. Other drivers have tried to talk to the Casimirshan. Informally. As for the outcome, I think you can guess. We were talking about how to handle Gianni's fines while you were away. His wife just gave birth to twins, and the folks at home are not in the best of health. Thankfully, they meet... Ruggiero stops in mid-sentence. Irene asks no more. Perhaps she is afraid that she might ask how the mob boss learned about the issues facing Gianni's family, when she herself has only just heard of them moments ago. She feels like she has spent too long in her office, so long that she can barely recognize her family anymore. Same as it was 2 years ago. Get the contract. I'll be fine. I'll find a way to deal with it. The AST's drivers do not rely on the kindness of strangers, especially those looking to hide their traps. Damn, a lot of businesses and contracts in this one. The lighting at the Casimirshan Chamber of Commerce reception room is much warmer than the Agencia at the Per la Sicurezza dei Trasporti's office. The thick rugs thoroughly muffling the sound of any footsteps. The water and documents on the table are placed such that one cannot tell if this is the table of a formal negotiation or simply a courtesy discussion. The Casimirshan representative arrived a little earlier than appointed and is looking at the documents when Irene arrives. He sets the papers down and stands to greet her. Irene sits without engaging in small talk. I wish to make certain adjustments to the cooperation between the Agencia per la Sicurezza dei Trasporti and the Casimirshan Chamber of Commerce. The drivers are not machines, they are doing their best to cooperate. And while it's true that they must sometimes be held responsible for breaches of contract, many more are attributable to a disconnect between contract terms and reality. Too many of these terms are unreasonable. Irene takes out the stack of contract and pushes them forward. The edges are frayed from excessive flipping, and the pages are heavily labeled. On their own, the individual terms may not seem unreasonable. Taken together, however, and they serve to put all the pressure on the lowest rung of the ladder. The Kazimierzian representative flips through the contract, reading it carefully, staying on one page for minutes, seemingly to confirm the detailed wording. After some time, he finally puts it away. I understand your concerns. Indeed, you have also noted the recent freight disruptions. However, the terms of the contract are clear and you had the opportunity to review them before you signed it. Yes, because none of us realized that they would be relevant at the same time so often. The rules themselves are not contradictory. It is just that current operating conditions are tighter than expected. What is your request then, Commissioner? I would like more flexibility when dealing with edge cases, at least for the time being. Some space in implementation, if nothing else. I think it would be conductive to better cooperate in the future. Kazimierzian representative is silent for a moment. Irene has a feeling that the silence is not a hesitation, but an assessment of whether the statement calls for the dignity of a response. A fleeting feeling, nothing more. Marking every single little adjustment would be a considerable burden on management moving forward. However, we could, shall we say, set the recent records aside for the time being. What do you mean, set aside? They will not be referenced at the current stage, at least not until the scheduling cycle is over. What about penalty records of individual drivers? They will not be scrutinized individually at the current stage. You may focus your time and energy on ensuring smooth overall production operation. Small problems will not be examined so closely when the big picture is secure. We too would prefer that our partners are able to work without pressure. We recognize, of course, that recent circumstances are exceptional. We appreciate your contributions in dealing with the increased workload associated with the upcoming Red Wine Championships. Yes, the AST has committed virtually all of our capacity to the Red Wine Championships orders. We appreciate our Kazimierzian partners' understanding of our drivers' circumstances. For better cooperation in the future, yes? I will adjust our schedules and review the conditions of our drivers. I recognize that doing business with you has been very beneficial for our members. Irene stands up and shakes hands with her counterpart. The hand held in hers is firm. Without applying excessive force, and the expression on the man's face remains polite, exactly as it was when Irene entered the room. We will review the next steps once things have settled down a bit. Irene nods. Irene even feels a slight spring in her step as she leaves the room, carrying the contract. She did not cede ground. The feeling helps ease the anxiety that she felt before she came, but also caused a pang of regret. If only she had come sooner to advocate for the drivers. If only she had checked the contract more carefully. Though everything is resolved now, at least there is still room to negotiate. Irene spends the next day tallying the violation on all the drivers, the Agencia de la Siracusa de Transporte's available budget, even her own savings. Later, she goes back to the camp to tell the others not to worry about the fines. Everything is getting better, just like the sunny weather that has graced Nuova Vulcania recently, thinks Irene. Tamale. Sam is already feeling better by the time he leaves the pharmacy. In terms of his wallet, at least, he has been off for 3 days. His fever has subsided and he feels ready to go back to work. Can't have the others subbing in for me all the time. I should figure out my schedule tomorrow, then hit the ground running. Who's calling at this hour? Hello? Oh, Tommaso from Zaluza Vino. Thanks for the flu and fever pills you gave me the other day. They worked great. I was just looking for them in the pharmacy to keep them on hand for the next time I get a fever. Oh, you're too kind. You said the order was urgent. I didn't want to hold up your business any longer, so I took it upon myself to deliver it. I didn't expect to see medicine boxes in with the pay. You weren't there when I picked it up, but I guess it was you who put the meds in there? You Saluzas are too kind. Oh, sorry. Belones, of course. You Belones are too kind. So what do you need from me at a time like this? The boss forgot to add a few crates to the delivery, and no one's available. And you need it for tomorrow's Red Wine Championships. Well, we can't have that. I'm just one block away from your winery. I'll get it. Should only take a few minutes on my bike. Don't worry about the fee. Neighbors help each other out after all. You insist. Alright. Have it your way. We can talk about it after I deliver the wine. Well, this is where the fuckery happens, huh? A few boxes, they say. Guess even the big companies slip up every once in a while. Do you think Tommaso found me? Why did he get my number anyway? Did I ever tell him? Never mind, that's not important. What is important is that Nuova Volsini's wines wins this red wine championship. Do the Casimirians make good wine? Couldn't possibly be as good as the Siracusan stuff at any rate. 2 more stops till I get to the venue. Where did that truck come from? Oh. Whew. That driver scared the shit out of me, the way he swerved. Good thing the wine's okay. Must have dozed off and missed the red light, I guess. Yikes. The whole truck's flipped over. I hope the driver's okay. I should call the police. Gianni? Is that you? Somebody help! My fratello's hurt. Hey you, Tommaso, you're here too? Help me get him out from under the wreck. I'll call an ambulance. Hello? There's been a crash. The driver's out cold. I need an ambulance right now. To Nuova Volsini. So Tommaso told me their boss will pay for Gianni's medical bills and a truckload of wine. Said Gianni might not have crashed if they didn't ask me to make the delivery and the Casimirian stuff wouldn't have spilled. And then what? Nothing. That's all Tommaso told me. It's just an act of kindness, Irene. Tommaso says the owner of Saluzzo Vino is very troubled about Gianni, but he never expected such a terrible accident. Besides, Gianni's in hospital and he needs the money. You were at the Casimirians' place for a while. What are they saying? Do we need to pay compensation for the goods, or is it Saluzzo Vino's responsibility? The Casimirians said they can write off the goods. Irene stops mid-sentence. She feels a lump in her throat. Her gaze falls upon the truck sitting on the edge of the cab. It's not been repaired yet, and the broken glass inside the truck gleams in the sunlight. The way you put it, they agree to not pursue individual liability of the incident. It takes a few moments for Sam to process the weight of the message, whereupon he visibly lets out a sigh of relief. What about Gianni? No personal restitution. He'll be treated as a failed contract. They'll write off the loss of goods, nice words they use, sharing risks, and treating partners fairly. That's great. Honestly, I don't think Gianni could handle paying restitution. He's got way too much on his plate lately. He's been taking so many jobs lately, the fatigue must have gotten to him. Anyway, tell the friend who asked you to run the errand that we don't need their help. The ST's insurance will pay part of Gianni's medical bills, and I'll deal with the rest. Sure, alright. The boys have been talking about chipping in for the bills anyway. I'll do my part too. Oh, Tommaso, right? I'll give him a call now. Oh, come on. I thought the Casimirians will let it go so easily. They told us about their nice words. What about the not so nice ones? They made it very clear that this was an exception that they only agreed to based on our current partnership. What do you mean? It means that they want us to be more proactive in working within their system, such as future schedules, routes, and other things that we used to decide on our own. As for penalty records, they said they'll assess them in aggregate, bunch of officialese, for internal reference only, no direct fines. That's what they said before too. Formal renegotiations with the Casimirians regarding the specifics will take place after the Red Wine Championship. We won't let them put unreasonable terms into the contract this time. Anyway, that's all about a truckload of wine. Don't ask questions and don't think too much about it. It's all in the past now. Irene, I know what you're trying to say. I don't need it. We don't need it. It's all done. Don't worry, I'll find a way. Things will get better for drivers at the AST. Or the Truckers Union. For a long time afterwards, what Irene recalls most vividly about those two negotiations is not anything that her counterpart said, but the strange confidence that she had. She believed that things would solve themselves if they were put out in the open, as long as rules and boundaries were upheld. even without having to rely on those forces that she was loath to involve. Not now, I don't have time for you. Irene impatiently waves away the Lupo delivery man behind her and turns to face the smartly dressed Coranta. She is anxious yet helpless, unsure what to do with her raised hand. Hold up. He is anxious and helpless, unsure what to do with her raised hand. But we can't possibly pay such an amount. And what do you mean you'll end our partnership if we don't accept? Did we see it the other day? Our agreement that day was based on the circumstances before that day. Our demands today are based on the changes that will occur after today. His tone was calm, impassive, as though he was simply stating an indisputable fact. He was kind enough to explain it again for Irene's sake. We will not intervene with the assignment of responsibility for the traffic accident, nor do we intend to influence the judgment of the relevant authorities. But the destruction of the goods is the outcome, and nothing can change that, not to mention the poisoning. As fate would have it, it was supposed to be our wine that the conductor in question last sampled, yet the loophole claims that he had asked someone to deliver it. And the vehicle that delivered the samples under suspicion happened to be the one that caused the accident involving the truck delivering our wine. The AST's drivers have nothing to do with the poisoning. Of course, I fully believe that. At least I do from a traffic perspective. Traffic perspective? Regardless of whether the rider violated traffic laws, his actions objectively impacted the non-delivery of our goods. He created a high-risk environment at a critical juncture, the result of which was that the contract was not fulfilled according to agreement. So you're going after someone who did not commit any actual violations. Going after is such a strong phrase. I said nothing of the sort. We are simply assessing the associated liabilities in accordance with the law. The Coranta pauses, then continues. The portions of damages that insurance does not cover must, of course, be borne by the liable parties. Business is business, Commissioner Irene. I beg your understanding. Business? This is highway robbery. We regret that you see it as such. I assure you our company is most disappointed in this turn of events. Meanwhile, we invite any interested drivers to pick up a pamphlet in hopes of future cooperation. We continue to welcome rational choices. That's crazy. We continue to welcome rational choices. Wait, Irene, say something. There's no way I can deal with what's on this piece of paper myself. I guess I'll have to go to no. Then what do you suggest I do? If you didn't sign that partnership agreement with these foreigners, that crash would never have happened. And Gianni would be lying in a hospital bed right now. I know you just want to help us make money, but those Kazimierzians are going to sue me. I've never even seen that much money in my entire life. How am I supposed to pay it? You said that regulations would protect the truckers' union, no? No, the AST drivers once we were part of the municipal system. I shouldn't have to deal with this on my own, right? I know, I'll find a way. Well, either you do that or I go and talk to that Pelone associate behind you. Irene reflexively opens her mouth to say no, as she had done so many times whenever the subject is broached, but no words come out. She sees a few drivers standing around the Coranta in the distance, the same typical smile plastered over his face as always. The man stands there, patiently holding a pamphlet, sometimes nodding and sometimes replying softly, looking more like a counselor listening to someone's troubles than a salesman trying to advertise something. The drivers listen to the Coranta's explanations with perplexed expressions on their faces while casting subtle, searching glances at Irene. Don't worry, I'll find a way. I will. Hijinks will ensue. It has been a long time since Irene last drove a truck to work. It has been a long time since she drove a truck on the new city's roads. Parking spaces are always at a premium at the stall, where the Agencia per la Sicurezza de Transportes offices are located. Visitors from local businesses, guests from foreign trade associations, drivers from the AST, colleagues from the other departments. Vehicles of all shapes and sizes come and go. There is no space for a truck. In the afternoon, when Irene is driving her truck out of the camp, she overhears the other drivers discussing the pamphlets that the Kazimierzian representative brought, some with excitement, others with suspicion. Talk about the number of fines this quarter, profits of each job, and their children potentially getting to work for a winery, a pharmacy, or a vehicle factory. The pamphlets A picturesque future, not so different from what she saw when she chose the foreigners in order to reject the familia. But she knows that they also represent other things. Irene continues to drive for a long time. As the colors of dusk fill the sky, she dials a certain number on her terminal. Lavinia? Lavinia, it's me, Irene. I'm coming over to the courthouse right now. I need to talk to you. It's important. Yep. Of course they ended there. Of course. 4 out of 6 done? And now it's the press's turn. Hold up. Alright. Second to the last. The repressive one. Unheard sound. Oh, she eyed? Oh, this is days before. Wonderful lighting. It complements your emerald eyes. Oh, how lucky I am to have a girl with such beautiful eyes. Lizelle. You talk like I'm the one to go on stage, Paula. But yeah, you sure are lucky to have a daughter who can handle both performance and paperwork so brilliantly. No sound? Huh, yes, so my good daughter. I'll trust you'll handle tomorrow's meeting with the new shopping mall in the corner. I have some new pieces brewing in my mind and I'd like to put them to paper after the Red Wine Championship. Of course, Paula, leave it to me. You should head to the stage now. Your performance is about to begin. Rabbits? Ribbons? Other things. Everyone will know of the Schwarz-Ervorhangs Orchestra after today's performance, and I'm sure you'll be busy. Stage light speaks through the gap between the backstage curtains, outlining the Capanese horns as she raises her baton. There we go, some sound. A bit different looking, actually. She saw only a silhouette. Under the slanted cellar lamps, the reflections of the drinking glass faded and reappeared as the figure moved. Lizelle wanted to approach the figure. Perhaps they were lost and in need of directions. But she only took one step before the other turned in response and quickly moved past the shelves. As the two brushed shoulders, the light revealed towering horns atop a black hood. Horns? A Capanese horns? I'm sorry. Blinding stage lights shine down on the floor where Paula left, the spilled wine pooling glaringly like fresh blood. Her mother's lips, which were smiling and praising her, are now dyed a shade of ominous wine red. Bright lights caused Lizelle's vision to blur, yet Paula's lifeless eyes failed to capture any of it. Paula? Mama! Lizelle? Huh? I was just saying, we'll handle the partnership and payment according to the contract. I'm sure you understand. Sorry, I was distracted. No worries, I understand. You're trying to keep the orchestra together after such a huge blow. Must be difficult. Again, I am so sorry for what happened to Frau Paula. This city has lost a beautiful and talented artist. I myself am grieving the tremendous loss. I can't imagine how her adopted daughter must feel. I appreciate your sympathy. I hope you bounce back quickly. Prepared some condolence gifts for your group. You can share them later. You shouldn't have. We are honored to simply be working with you. So, about the performance fee. Don't worry about it. We won't claw back the deposit. But as I was about to say, we have decided to not continue our cooperation. I hope your group can find solace and weather this difficult time. Wait, you're not renewing the contract? Yes. Without a dazzling pearl like Frau Paula, your orchestra has lost its backbone. I fear the standard of your performances will not return to its original level anytime soon. After all, we are a business, not a charity. Sorry. Was that too blunt of me? Then what about our performances scheduled for the next 2 days? Cancelled, of course. The original plan was to let our guests enjoy your music accompanying their wine tasting. But now City Hall has closed the theater for an investigation of this incident, so there's no way to continue the competition. I'm suffering a terrible loss too, you know. Then what about the fees for the previous performances? Our Red Wine Championship warm-up performances were perfectly fine, popular even. Our contract clearly states, in the event that force majeure leads to the termination or cancellation of a performance, the client is not obliged to pay the corresponding fee. In other words, we pay the balance only after all the performances have been properly performed. Ah, perhaps your grief caused you to forget this clause? No, that is not. No one wanted for this to happen. It's a terrible loss for us as well, so I hope you and your orchestra can empathize. If there's anything else we can help with, just let us know and we'll try our best to assist. I understand. If you ever need our services in the future, just let me know. Of course, of course. But I must ask, will your group be alright performing without Frau Paula? Bruh. Casimir's man. Oh, wow. We here. Lizelle, Timpani, you're finally back. Timpani pulls Lizelle onto the sofa in the middle of the rehearsal room, then sits down next to her, awkwardly patting her shoulder. His back is straight, but his bloodshot eyes betray his effort to remain chipper. Man, that Charek's a stubborn one. Didn't think he'd insist on discussing the contract with you just because your mother's signature was on it. We already told him to come to us. You just suffered such a tragic loss. But he talk business with you right now. Right, he has no clue how close you two were. You know, we can tell at a glance how long you spent sobbing last night. Just stay put here, Lizelle, trombone. Enough worrying over the past 2 days. Let us old-timers handle the rest. Oh, hello? Wait, what is this? You're medium. Then we still got a log. Bassoon. I'm assuming they're all just instruments. Oops. Just stay put here. Yeah. Okay, it's all done. Old-timers handle. Just look at your hands, all wrinkly and callous from doing the cleaning and chores all by yourself just to save money. Huh? No, I'm fine. Actually, I'd rather you all not worry yourselves over this. Just concentrate on rehearsal. Right, so what did he say about our future performances? Same as usual, or are we doing something new? But Paula didn't finish a new piece. About that, our future performances are all cancelled. Charek also says we only get the balance payment after all the performances are done, but now... What? That verdammt Casimir's Scheiß Carol. Hey, Timpani. Trombone stops Timpani from continuing his onslaught of expletives with a tiny pinch and gestures with her eyes for him to show some consideration to the girl on the sofa. Ah, sorry, Lizelle. I wasn't mad at you, don't worry. Damn that Sharek bullying a girl. Does he no heart? The Red Wine Championship ended just a while ago. You haven't even had a chance to recover and he lays this on you? Lizelle, you should go to bed. You haven't gotten a wink of sleep since yesterday. I left a cup of hot sisty milk in your room, so have some, alright? Oh no, might be cold by now. Why don't I go warm it up for you? Lizelle opens her mouth to answer, but nothing comes out as she notices everyone's red eyes and tired expressions. She manages nothing and ultimately shakes her head weakly. Refusing Trombone's opera, she gets up to leave. In the hallway outside the room, she leans against the wall, listening to the vague murmurs from inside. What do we do now? Paolo's gone and so is our performance fee. We were counting on this championship to get our name out there and secure new gigs. Now it's going to be nearly impossible. We need cash to rent our rehearsal space for instrument maintenance, and food isn't free either. Paula didn't have much saved. She shared whatever she had with us. Let's pull what we have. I think we'd manage another 10 to 15 days or so. But who will conduct us now that Paula's gone? How are we going to perform without her? How did she even? That Belone Lupo. Why did he hurt our Paula? It just makes no sense. What does this mafia have to do with us? Maybe they thought she was in someone's way. Or did we break one of their rules by taking gigs here? Who knows? Siracusan gangsters are a ruthless bunch. City Hall says investigations are ongoing, but who knows if they'll actually go anywhere? What can we even hope for? The city is still Siracusa after all. I think they're just pretending to exercise the law. Personally, I think we should never forget what the Belones did to Paula. If I ever see one of their mobsters, my fist is going straight in their jaw. Don't be rash. If they could murder Paula just like that, I'm sure they could end our lives just as easily. We all came from Lythanian. Could it be they're after Lythanians? Surely not. If that's not it, I don't know how else to explain it. Why would they go after a woman as great as Paula? I've had enough of the Siracusan Mafia. Why don't we just leave for Victoria or somewhere even further? How's Colombia sound? We might have to quit playing, but we can do odd jobs or whatever to feed ourselves, just like we did before we met Paula. We should take Lizelle with us. Of course. Even if I only earn enough for a bowl of macaroni, you bet half of it's going to the girl. She will not starve on my watch. Lizelle does not manage to make out what the rest say in response, nor does she have the will to listen further. She only feels her head spinning, her eyes stinging, her entire body heavy like lead. She only wants to fall into Paula's embrace. Lizelle does not return to her own bed, and instead opens the door to Paula's room. Paula forgot to shut the window tight on the day of the championship, and the rain from last night had soaked the nearby stack of music sheets. Even a day later, the paper remains wrinkled. Forgot to close the window again, huh? Even though I remind her every night, honestly, everything else might as well be dust once she dove into her music. Paula. Sob. Till she tried her best to hold back for the sake of the meeting with the Casimirian businessman, and the orchestra now burst forth once more. Lizelle gathers the sheets by the window, trying to smooth out the wrinkles on the paper, but even her fingers appear to be to her as blurry as the notes soaked by the rain. He knows how dreadful and silly she must look. Paula saw her like this, she joined in the crying too. Paula had been accompanying Lizelle to her parents' graves when they overheard a lady performing a foreign melody nearby, and she cried the same way Lizelle is crying now. The trombone player was startled by the red-eyed Paula, but later became part of the family, just like bassoon and even timpani. Paula had been standing at the pier when she discovered timpani driving piles into the ground with a steel drill. "You have a good sense of rhythm," she said, "so why not join my orchestra as a timpani player?" Lizelle asked Paula before why someone as talented as her would leave like Tanya. Paula only tilted her head in response then. She didn't fully understand herself. Why didn't her countrymen understand that she only wanted to perform the pieces she liked? Why couldn't they accept even that? These scores were her favorites. The paint on this metronome's flaking off. She must have brought it from Tanya. Oh, so this is the earring. So this earring was all the way in the back of this drawer. Paula was so sad when she thought she'd lost it. This costume has been altered so many times and still not finished. She said she'd wear it on for the performance. Excuse me? Lizelle gently picks up the crimson dress, her fingers tracing the gold thread on the neckline. The fabric is somewhat old, with dye fading at its fraying edges, but the elaborate embroidery work is as brilliant as ever. Next to the dress hanger is a staff, standing in silence. Her staff. He has so much to teach me about arts, so why? Why did someone do that to you? The street lights outside the window flicker to life. Passing headlights flash in and out of her vision, blurred by her overflowing tears. Light. A flash of light. A flash of light reflected off the drinking glass. Lizelle's fingers freeze. A blurry fragment surges forth from her memories like ice on the lake, suddenly cracking from all the suppressed water. A slender hooded figure half hidden behind a shelf. Spotlight shining down, illuminating the glass in his hand. Towering horns under the light. That's the man I thought was lost in the cellar. But he's a Capran. That's no Bellone and no Lupo either. There's no way. What's going on? Like Trombone said, he had nothing to do with the Mafia. Could it be Bellone really has nothing to do with this? Or maybe he's not the murderer? But then why? Why a Capran? Lizelle looks up, her gaze fixed on the photo on the headboard of Paula's bed. A formal group photo of the Svarservor Hang Orchestra after a performance. Other than a few Alafia, the other members, numbering a dozen or so, are all Caprani. Once she joked to Paula, asking if she intended to recruit every Lithanian in Siracusa into the group, and Paula laughed, saying it would be wonderful. What if that person was no stranger, but one of our players in disguise? No way. How could I suspect one of our own? But I have to find the killer. I have to know who killed Paula. Paula, when you were teaching me arts, you said telling the truth can sometimes hurt, but it's like a flame, warm and powerful. You always told me to never lie and to do the right thing. But what if doing it would scorch our family? Lizelle bites her lip, trying to stop herself from voicing her thoughts, but they only remain stuck in her head. The exhaustion, shocks, pain, and fear from the past few days have squeezed her into a tiny ball, primed to blow. Her tears no longer flow. She only feels cold. Just a few more days until that murderer has been sentenced, and we'll bring Lizelle with us and leave this place. Ch, what's wrong? You see that luxury hotel over there? Bah, we'll only businesses wherever we go. Huh? You mean the priciest place, the one that's impossible to book, is theirs too? Scheiße. They sure are raking in the cash. Rich men like them probably can buy themselves an acquittal, right? Gotta do every damn thing myself. Just you wait. I'll stab him a couple of times someday. Enough. Did you forget what Trombone said? Besides, with that lame leg of yours, the cops will catch you right after you got your first stab in, and then you just break Lizelle's heart again. Right. I can't let her suffer anymore. No. I still can't just let it be. Fine. Why don't we go outside and spit on the ground? Let's go. No. That won't blow off enough steam. And you get in a good punch or two. You're the most stubborn man in this orchestra. Fine. I'll come along. Ring, ring. What? Timpani and Bassoon have been detained for getting into a conflict on a Bellone property. No, I'm not Paula. No, nothing. Yes, I'm Lizelle Meminger. The phone number is correct. Alright, I'll come at once. Somebody called Paula. She has barely managed to drift off when a shrill ringtone interrupts her sleep. Lizelle cannot decide if the caller's description of what happened or the resulting scene taking shape in her imagination is more devastating. Her heart pounds violently as she puts on a coat before heading outside. Perhaps because it is late at night, or maybe because a murder just happened, she fails to find a cab for hire. In a moment of desperation, she starts sprinting towards the nearest police station. The night wind whispers to her like background noise leaking from an old stage. Lizelle runs as fast as she can, even though her foggy thoughts only get noisier the more she tries to calm herself down. Did they actually go looking for Bellone associates? Did someone make a move? Did they do something for me, for Paula? The wind stings her eyes, but she runs even faster, her balance nearly slipping. Personally, I think we should never forget what the Bellones did to Paula. No, there's no way. If I ever see one of their mobsters, my fist is going straight in their jaw. Timpani, Bassoon. No, they wouldn't do such things. Lizelle gasps for breath like a bellows about to burst as the night wind slips into her arms, sending her in shivers. She notices a few passers-by ahead, looking at her as if they have spotted the lunatic. She does not care. All she thinks is to go fast, faster. But the closer she gets to the police station, the more the grayish-white building seems to slowly press down on her like a huge, unfeeling stage curtain. Lizelle slows down. She stands on the street corner and spots an officer smoking outside at the gate in front of the lit-up station entrance. For a second, she seems to want to turn and run. Did they do this thinking they had no other choice because I'm so useless? What if they actually did something? What if one of them is the real culprit? What if I find the truth? It's an answer the orchestra or I can't bear to hear. She hates herself for doubting them. She hates how her first reaction upon hearing Familia Bellone and detained was not to defend them but to freeze as she recalled those towering horns. What should I do? Paula. Daughter of mine, our orchestra wouldn't be what it is today without you. I'm so thankful. Yes, I'll always be with you, and the rest of the orchestra needs you too. Lizelle, my girl, my pride and joy. Someday, you will stand on the stage in my stead. No, not just me. It has never been for me. One day, you will become the best conductor in Nuova Bolsine. No, all of Siracusa. The wind seems to have stopped. Lizelle slowly but surely drags her feet into the building. Gonna see Salusa here? There they are. So you're saying Timpani didn't hit you and struck these two Colombian businessmen instead. Ah, that's right. Well, I got hit too, actually. But hey, old man, you got a bum leg, but your arms pack a punch. Damn straight, I'm a first-rate percussionist. You bet I'm good at hitting things. Why that Colombian fat ass didn't trip and eat your second jab, huh? Ahem. So here's the situation. Got a call about 4 troublemakers on the street, and then it turned into a fight between 6. After some questioning, we determined these two Colombian gentlemen, the Belone Aldor Hall Hotel, were fighting with with the hotel staff. The staff had asked the Colombian men to step outside, but once they were on the street, the businessmen suddenly became violent. Meanwhile, these two members of the Sivar Sir Borhang Orchestra tried to mediate the fight, but ended up involving themselves in the scuffle. Yep, it's all that fatso's fault. He's drunk and was harassing our receptionist. Harassing? Not at all. I was just a paying guest in the hotel when suddenly I took a hit. Mark my words, I'm not done with you just yet. Ha! Haven't had enough? You were the ones who stumbled into this lobby drunk, yelling, "Why should I line up? Get me the biggest, most mafia-style room." Mafia style? What were you getting at, throwing words like that around a legitimate business establishment? You scared off the guests who were trying to check in. You're acting like that's no big deal? Exactly. Even from the entrance, we clearly saw how you scared the receptionist to tears. Hey, zip it. Bassoon pinches Timpani hard, who yelps and looks up to see Lizelle's ashen expression. Sorry, Lizelle. You shouldn't have been called out here at this hour. All of us have you listed as our emergency contact. Paula told us to, so... it's my fault. I should have stopped him. Lizelle, say something. The silence is scaring me. So the two of you helped someone who didn't need your help in the first place? Huh? That seems to be the case, yeah. Zell is rendered speechless as she looks at both pairs of Belone mobsters and Colombian businessmen. In the middle, Timpani and Bassoon are huddling in fear like foul beasts caught in the rain, their pitiful gazes aimed at Lizelle. When was it? When was the last time I saw something so absurd? At the pier, faced with Paula's invitation, Timpani shook his head in confusion and ignored the two to resume his hammering. With his rhythmic hammering in the background, Lizelle saw Paula suddenly straightened herself and her collar. "Foreman, sir, I'd like to resign on this gentleman's behalf. From today onwards, he will no longer be able to hammer for you, for he shall join me in exploring the beautiful possibilities in the world of music. Now then, arrivederci, my good foreman." Huh? No, wait, what? Resign? Goodbye? Who said he could go? What? He can't. Of course not. It's day labor, but he's not even done yet. And you want to take him away? It'll slow us down. Oh, I see. Is this enough then? Go find another master artisan like Timpani here, and you won't fall behind schedule. But the foreman was clearly shocked by Paula's actions. Her words stunned Timpani. Behind Paula was Lizelle, tugging on her mother's sleeve with an expression both amused and annoyed. Paula, that's supposed to feed us for a whole week. Huh? Really? Everyone stayed awkwardly still for a moment before the foreman quickly grabbed the florin from her, as if afraid she'd change her mind. Hey, you over there, go find another worker for me. The foreman turned to yell and left the trio, depriving Timpani of a chance to respond. Huh? Sigh. I'm sorry, Lizelle. Maybe you should manage the money from now on. And now we three will busk on the street. I'm sure we can earn back enough for tonight's dinner. The fiery sunset clouds from that day come back to life inside Lizelle's mind. The dumbfounded Timpani, the satisfied and smiling Paula, and her resigned self shaking her head were all bathed in the warm sunset glow, in the shade of a beautiful future. Well, they're kinda in shambles right now. Or at least Paula is. Lizelle is. Wow, our whole family is so silly. Paula, timpani, bassoon, trombone, everyone, and even me. I'm the biggest fool of us all. How could I have suspected my own family? There's no way anyone would do anything like that. It's alright, Lizelle. I did what I did, and I'll pay the price. So don't worry your little head over this. It's just a few days behind bars, probably. I'm used to skipping meals. Can you start the beat, Timpani? Any rhythm is fine, just one you like. What? Timpani's bold declaration to pay the price for his actions is interrupted by Lizelle's sudden request. He exchanges a glance with Bassoon, even meets eyes with the Bologna mobsters and Colombian businessmen. But the undeniable authority in her voice sends Timpani's hand involuntarily tapping on the metal bar. With his rhythmic tapping in the background, Lizelle straightens her back as well as her collar, looking towards the Colombian businessman. Ahem! Allow me to introduce myself. I am Lizelle, the leader of the Schwarzer Vorhang Orchestra. We are the finest orchestra in all of Nuovo Volsini, which I'm sure you can tell from the excellent live performance by my timpani player, yes? I should also mention we have a wonderful bassoon player in our midst, but I regret we do not have the equipment to offer a demonstration right now. Alright, now that the introductions are out of the way, firstly, I would like to express my sincerest apology for today's incident. I cannot make decisions on their behalf, but I will take responsibility for my group. It is an undeniable fact one of my men hit you, and I am deeply sorry for it. You are a businessman from faraway Colombia, yes? The high-end Piazza Parasota you've invested in is about to open in the city. I think you chose the city for a good reason. Its potential, order, and future cultural atmosphere. Now, I'm not trying to excuse this unfortunate misunderstanding between your party and mine, but I'd like to offer something valuable in exchange for your forgiveness. A performance. We, the Schwarzer Vorhang Orchestra, will provide a free and exclusive performance for the Piazza Parasota's opening ceremony. Exclusive, you say? Yes, give us a time and we'll be there, performing a complete lineup of classical pieces of theater-grade quality, lighting and stage control included. The conductor will be me, daughter of Paula Meminger. I will not fall short of her standards, for she personally trained me, and I am her pride. Even if you are not satisfied with our performance, you will gain some buzz from the public either way and won't take a loss, even if you decide not to hire us again. But if you find this valuable, then I imagine you'd love to make Piazza Parasota the very first high-end shopping mall with a resident orchestra. Of course, all this is to make one thing clear. This city only has a single orchestra worth investing in, and that's us. Boss, this sounds pretty good. It does seem like a good deal. Hold up, how about figuring out who's actually in the wrong? Well, this young lady's already taken the blame, so what else is there to discuss? It's not like we meant to cause a ruckus. What do you gentlemen think? Alright, you'll arrange everything that needs arranging and we'll have your orchestra at the opening. However, we are a high-end mall after all. I do hope you won't disappoint. Of course. Next to the Colombian businessmen, timpani and bassoon are still as statues. Only when the police officer waves them away do they both mutter something as if just jolted awake. Giselle, you were the spitting image of Paula back there. No, even more, how do I put it? More Paula than Paula ever was. I'm my mama's daughter after all. I'm the Meminger of the Schwarzer Vorhang Orchestra. Oh, still continuing. In the dressing room backstage, Lizelle is seated, surrounded by the joyful sound of her orchestra chatting. Next to her is a stack of slightly yellowed scores, Paula's untitled quartet, with some edits noted in the corners. Meanwhile, Paula's favorite composition has just won a standing ovation from the entire audience at the Colombian's magnificent stage. Lizelle runs her hand over the slightly faded ink, then stands up to face the orchestra. Thank you all for staying. I know these past few days have been difficult and stupid, but we held our concert and will hold many more, by Paula's will in the name of the Schwarzer Vorhang Orchestra. So there is something I must tell you. On the day of the incident, I saw Paula's murderer. I'll find him somehow, and the law will punish him. He wasn't a lupo, so probably not a Bellone. It was a Caprine I saw. Oh, we're just wrapping that. Okay then, hold up. Alright folks, I just ate, and now it's time to do the last one. Ordine nuovo. I'm assuming like the new ordinary. Grazie infinite, Signor Bellone. Would have been such a... I would have been at such a loss had not been for you and your familia. Come now, Zio Elio. I didn't do anything. Indeed, your name and presence were enough. The landlord dropping by as you were visiting me was enough to make him reconsider collecting his rent on the spot. After you left, he quickly agreed to give me 2 more weeks, that I'll figure out myself. I don't understand, Zio Elio. Why are you... What happened to your fruit stand? Oh, that. Sold it long ago. My little Emma had a fever this summer, and who would have thought it would leave her paralyzed? From fever? Jesus. Luckily, Dimitri introduced me to a good doctor, said it was a serious yet common summer ailment. Serious but common? My goodness. That's usually not the combination you have. It's usually if it's common, it's not serious. She might lose her legs if it wasn't treated. What is this? I don't even know if this is real. So I sold my fruit stand and pulled cash from relatives to pay part of the doctor's fees, the rest to be paid in installments. She's out of the woods now, at least. She has a slight limp, but she's otherwise healthy. As for the rent and bills, I'll figure it out. Your stand was on the corner. Metri and I bought oranges from you when we were little. We've been neighbors for years. Could have lent you some money and you wouldn't have had to. No, Signor Bellone. It's a vast sum. I wouldn't dare accept such a favor from you. Besides, your money wouldn't keep me afloat forever. I owe rent every week. But now that I'm under Familia Bellone's protection, my landlord won't kick me out when I fail to pay, and even the bakery will sell me some food on credit. But you never wanted to join the Familia. You always said there was no need for civilians to join or involve themselves in Familia affairs. The most important thing was to work hard and live your best life. This old man was just naive. A Familia is more than fighting and killing. Finally understand that. Well, don't worry, Signor Bellone. I may be old, but I know not to be ungrateful. The Bellones have helped me, so if you ever need a favor in turn, just call me and I'll be there. Speaking of, you did this on purpose, didn't you, Metri? I asked you the other day why I haven't seen his fruit stand, and you told me he went home for a relative's funeral. You knew Emma was gravely ill, and when you suddenly invited me here for pizza the other day, you knew Zio Elio would pass by and find me. You handled it expertly, Leon. Handled what? I played right into your hands. If I had known sooner, you couldn't have done anything about it anyway. You couldn't have possibly known what sort of hardship he would face. Your assistance would have been limited. But at least I could have prevented him from joining the Familia against his wishes. Only the Familia can help him now. Is that so? I beg to differ. What did this facade cost him, and how long will it even last? He should have access to more work opportunities, while we, Siracusa, should guarantee them a livelihood through systemic measures. Relying on the Familia won't address the root of the problem. I hope the lesson you've learned from this is not charity or consideration for others, Leon. You're the underboss. Someday you'll be the head of the Familia yourself. Competent Don knows offering timely help will earn you gratitude. They will owe you a favor and repay their debt someday. You sound so heartless, Metri. Why did you even bother introducing a doctor to Z. Elia then? Shouldn't you have let me do it if you wanted me to learn to extract gratitude? You didn't know how ill Emma really was, and you didn't know he would have no choice but to sell the fruit stand. You just wanted to help him, and it had nothing to do with the Familia. We can only do as much as we can, no? Besides, old Elia's oranges were always the best. He knows how to pick his suppliers. Yoink! Get network, kid. This is a trivial matter compared to your available powers as the mayor. Please, bring that murderous mafioso who ruined my red wine championship to justice. Sir Charek, Dimitri Bellone's trial is this afternoon, but for now he remains only a suspect. But who else could it have been? He sees me as a competitor and is not above dirty tricks. I kept my wine safely stored in the cellar and even arranged for professional security to guard them, only to somehow have them swap with Saluzos. The prime suspect was arrested at the party, yet only placed under house arrest. And there have been plenty of people knocking on his door to visit, console, and even plot more nastiness. The whole city thinks I'm him innocent, while Saluzovino is raking in record profits. While I, poor old Radoslaw, familiar name I think, I've gained absolutely nothing after spending so much time and effort organizing an event here in the hopes of doing some business in this thriving new city. As far as I know, the Red Wine has been publishing articles about this murder case, and this has brought a lot of attention to your event. I understand you've already begun recruiting participants for your next Red Wine Championship, and there are even wine merchants from Colombia and Lithuania who have signaled an interest in participating. Indeed, but I should be enjoying greater gains than just those. Now I'm left trying to minimize my massive losses. Senor Charek, we pledged to run the city fairly according to the new Urban Management Act, but our government will not serve the interest of a lone businessman. Not you or anyone else. That's so. I hear you grew up with that Bellone boy and now he's even taken your family name. I'm no longer affiliated with Familia Bellone in any way. But he's a member, no? Part of the purest Siracusan familia. Even in his businessman costume, he's still most comfortable doing things mafia style. You need to present proper evidence before we can hold a formal trial. Of course, we must follow due process. I am aware. But my good mayor, I pray you don't forget this. Since the new Urban Management Act, many businessmen from Casimir's, Lithuania, and Colombia have come here to trade. And we, or at least the merchants under the KGCC's banner, are only here in Nuova Volsini and not in any other Siracusan city, because you have promised us the Familia do not exist here. Oh, a little bit of a threat there. The wine merchant leaves, but Leontusa remains still for a long time. Oh, finally! Miss Falcone finally shows her face, huh? You seem exhausted. Did that wine merchant tie you up in his affairs again? Or is it Dimitri? He's convinced we won't have a fair trial and keeps bringing up his Chamber of Commerce to pressure me. Saluzovino has indeed established itself in Nuova Volsini under Dimitri's management. But it remains a local enterprise, and it's hard to judge if it can compare with the commercial capabilities of Jarek's Golden Prairie. I fear Jarek is holding Dimitri not just because they're business competitors or for that championship incident. Dimitri is merely an opportunity for Zarak and the Chamber of Commerce backing. Most local merchants here do have ties to the Familia, big or small. And if this background becomes valid grounds for accusations of wrongdoing, the local industry will come under pressure. But we do need those foreign capitalists to trade here. We have to learn their modern ways of trade. We need their capital and goods. Even the way they compete with each other is something we need. It'll make our local businesses iterate and evolve to keep up. I'm aware of all that. But Lavinia, our current situation is so far from what we originally envisioned. Yes, we planned for a city without the Familia, run with fairness and justice, not favoring any particular party. But now, Nuova Volsini has become an open gate to Siracusa, completely defenseless, free for any outsiders to enter, no matter their motives. The first group is of course the Casimirgens who exploit the loopholes in the new Urban Management Act. The exclusive shelf display agreement that Sharek and his fellow merchants include in their contracts have severely affected local industry. Various logistic contracts with high fines have also driven our local truckers into a corner. That's fun. Okay, so they're going like small pictures and then big picture with this last one, it seems. Yes, Irene has informed me of the situation. It seems like the KGCC is trying to undermine our AST. Also, other departments have given feedback on how they've been showing signs of wanting to involve themselves in the energy and health sectors as well. Healthcare sectors. According to last month's reports from City Hall, many businesses in the service industry have shuttered, while the manufacturing industry is also struggling. Foreign-backed companies and shops have shut up here and they prefer to employ those from their own countries, so it is likely the job pool for locals will only shrink. Despite our best efforts, prices are still trending upwards. The infamous equivalent exchange. First to third world, what can you do? Our people are not doing so well. And it is the Casimirans and Colombians we must face, but also the Lithuanians have come from all across Siracusa and even from their own country with all manner of motives. Yes, and before them, the fairness and justice we seek remain necessary. I still believe in this. But if such a pursuit must be traded for the livelihood of our citizens, then those so-called virtues will only end up being superficial formalities. You're right. I've been mulling over it. Remember when I mentioned we might have to amend the new Urban Management Act? We've made a revision. Want a look? Leon Tuso takes the draft from Lavinia. Two thin sheets of paper that should take no time to go through, but Leon Tuso flips through them multiple times before he finally looks up. Impose tariffs on foreign goods. Let's go! Prevent foreign businesses from establishing a monopoly on key sectors like transportation, finance, and energy, and allow some factions with familiar ties access to lower management roles. Issue franchise permits to familiar-controlled corporations. Is this not a bit overboard? I fear people may say we're regressing to the old Siracusan way, or that we're favoring the familia. I did propose change, but these amendments are difficult to accept. I understand your concerns, Leon. I know you, of all people, hope to keep the familia out of this city. You still seek to counter foreign capitalists with familia power. Leon, we all know Nuova Volsini's government and our authority over the city were granted at Signora Cecilia's pleasure. But in Siracusa, as it stands now, the only force capable of uniting everyone is still the familia, okay? What do you call that? Historically progressive? Like, kings are technically historically progressive even though it's not the best, what do you call that, kind of rule, I guess? But what we can do is limit and prevent the familia from growing their power, ensure they do not succumb to infighting, and most importantly, keep them from infringing on civilian interests. Like, I mean, monarchy, feudalism is better than slavery, but it's still not good, but it's still historically progressive. It's not an easy decision to make. Truth be told, I think it's not the right time to submit this draft either. Most citizens enjoy the employment opportunities brought in by foreign companies, as well as their cheap and trendy imported goods. Even the KGCC's way inconvenienced them compared to the trouble caused by the mob wars of the past. You will not think it much of a problem. Until the United Fruit Company kills y'all. Silence spreads throughout the office. Leon Tuso knows Lavinia is right, because he used to harbor such plans in his mind. But it is not so easy to make the decision. I get what you're trying to say. But just as Charak and the KGCC want this chance to put Mitri on trial, we also need an opportunity to convince ourselves in this entire city. Yes, and this chance may well come soon. Oh, guess it's all coming to a head, huh? What was the flash? Oh, right. The first one was the murder. Well, I guess we call it murder. Premeditated murder, poisoned wine. Second one was merchant girl. Third one was furry. Fourth one was truck driver. Yeah. Irene. And then fifth one is Represa with the orchestra. And then this is the sixth one. The courtroom is packed. The afternoon trial has clearly drawn a lot of attention. Sitting in the gallery are not only locals but also the merchant Charek's Kazimirian partners, a Lithuanian orchestra, and even Colombian traders. All of their attention is fixated on one Dimitri Bellone in the defendant's dock. Gavel, gavel. Excuse me. In accordance with the new Urban Management Act, the Nuova Volsini Criminal Court will commence with the trial of the defendant, Dimitri Bellone, on charges of the murder of Paula Meminger, case number 01452. Court is now in session. I call Tommaso Esposito to the witness stand. Signor Esposito, is it true you are the manager for Saluzzo Vino in charge of the company's logistics? Yes. 2 weeks ago, one day before the Golden Prairie's Red Wine Championship, you called an individual by the name of Sam at the Agenda per la Sicurezza di Trasporti. You asked him to deliver 2 bottles of Saluzzo wine to the event venue. Yes, I was very busy and completely forgot about sending some wines to the competition, although I fortunately remembered to do so the day before. Suffering from success, as it were. Okay, bro. When this Sam was delivering the goods via motorcycle, he came upon a crashed truck driven by an AST colleague, Juan Gianni. Gianni was on a Golden Prairie drop at the time. Coincidentally, Gian just happened to be delivering goods specifically prepared by Golden Prairie for the competition finals, and you just happened to be there as well. The coincidence isn't that unusual, just go to show how everyone loves doing things last minute. As for me, I was making my way over to the event venue to ensure my boss's instructions were being carried out properly, so I tagged along. At the scene of the accident, you helped Sam get Gian into the ambulance, and you helped handle the aftermath. Notably, you took those Siracusa wines and placed them into the Golden Prairie box meant for the competition. The Golden Prairie guy said they'd find another driver, so I thought I'd save myself some trouble since we were both delivering goods to the same destination. But you took the Golden Prairie wines out of their box. And so the wines that appeared to the judges under the Golden Prairie name were, in fact, from Siracusa Vino. That's their own carelessness. You only had to look at the labels on the bottles to avoid that mistake. Am I wrong, Your Honor? No further questions. Ain't no way this is all gonna be human error. I call Letizia Marroni to the witness stand. Think the Caproni is gonna be someone in costume? I've never Has that ever happened in an Arknights story where the perpetrator was like in another species costume? Signora Marroni, you work at the Nuova Bolsinis Police Academy as a toxicology expert and forensic pathologist. Okay, right. They did not say what kind of poison was used. You were responsible for the autopsy of the victim, Paola Meminger, as well as the testing of the utensils and wine in the cases. Yes? Please inform the court of your findings. Yes, Your Honor. The autopsy results show Paola Meminger died of cyanide poisoning. Traces of cyanide were found in the wine glass she used, but not inside the Siracusa wine bottle. Interesting. In other words, the murderer applied cyanide only to the glass rather than the Siracusa wine itself. I can only say the current evidence supports that conclusion. Calling Liesel Meminger to the witness stand. The little Caproni steps out. Okay, so she is Caproni. Crowd of musicians around her and slowly but resolutely walks towards the witness stand. Signorina Meminger, is it true you are a member of the Schwarzervorhang Orchestra and the adopted daughter of the deceased, Paola Meminger? Yes. Is she goat? No, because even Degenbrecher has quite the horns. I cannot quite see. But I'm just gonna go with it. Excuse me. On the day of the Red Wine Championship, you went to the cellar where all the competition wines were stored for an inspection. Yes? While you were there, you brushed past someone who was neither a security guard nor a member of any participating winery. Yes. Did you see what this individual did in the cellar? I saw him picking up a glass, but at the time, I only thought it a random strange occurrence. No problems arose after he entered the cellar, so I assumed he was just a lost spectator. If I'd known what he was doing, I would have stopped him and Paula wouldn't have. Zel's voice trembles slightly as her volume lowers gradually. She looks down, hunched over, but ultimately she straightens her back. My condolences. Did you get a clear look at his face? I only saw him for a moment. I saw his face, but couldn't make it out clearly. You think you might recognize him? No. He dressed very plainly. Thinking back, I believe he was maybe trying to trick the security guard, impersonating one of our orchestra members. Oh? I don't know who he was, but there's one thing I do know. He was definitely no Pero or Lupo you typically find in Siracusa. He had enormous Caprine horns. He was dressed in the courtroom like turtles from throwing a stone into water. Lavinia continues her questions, and Lisa recounts in detail what her orchestra members were doing at the time, establishing their alibis. No one cares for her words at this point. So Bellone didn't do it. I've been thinking it made no sense. You already won the championship after all. What will you get by killing the conductor? But what if there's something else we still don't know? Also, couldn't he have just simply hired a Caproni to do the deed? These men have sabotaged our wineries. He's been obviously after us, disrupting our perfectly legitimate business operations. Order in the court! I call Elio Fabri to the witness stand. Why do you keep hiding, man? The accused is shocked to see his old acquaintance in court. He does not know why the old Elio would be here. He was not even aware that Elio had come to Nuova Volsini. Senior Fabri, is it true that you are an employee of Salusa Vino and responsible for procuring grapes for the company's production line? Is this a mole? Yes, Your Honor. Excuse me? 3 weeks ago, you reached out to Verdi Winery to discuss procuring raw materials for Salusa Vino. Even though Verdi Winery's business has been declining ever since the Kazimierzian Winery set up shop, they've always had the most aromatic grapes. Our company has a long-term cooperative agreement with Verdi to purchase any surplus materials their production lines cannot handle. The discussion was just part of my regular job. But during this meeting, you learned that Golden Prairie was about to buy out Verdi Winery. Yes. And so you conspired with Nicolo, a Verdi employee, to sabotage the winery's production facilities. Furthermore, you also sabotaged the water supply and drainage systems, causing Golden Prairie to incur substantial maintenance costs after their acquisition. Yes. You must be aware that these actions constitute unfair competition and violate the New Urban Management Act. What was your motive? Did the owner of Salusa Vino, Dimitri Bellone, compel you to do this? Did he intend to disrupt Golden Prairie's business operations? Does not answer immediately. The Kazimierzian businessman in the galley is silent, his expression now relaxed. Meanwhile, Liantuso fails to make out Dimitri's reaction from his calm demeanor in the defendant's dock. No one compelled me to do anything, Your Honor. Everything I did was on my own conscience, out of my concern as a Nuova Volsinese, as a Siracusa. It's true Golden Prairie is a competitor of ours, and our rivalry means I know well the methods they use. They dump their goods here for cheap, pressuring our local wineries into a smaller corner of the market. Exactly, equivalent exchange. Well, in this case, unequivalent exchange. And then acquire them when they turn unsustainable. But they don't run the businesses properly after buying them out, much less try to preserve their unique winemaking traditions. They fire all the old staff to increase profit and efficiency, pretend to operate normally for a while, then shut it all down, leaving the vines to waste away. Verdi's the fourth. Before them, it was Triptych, Pasadi Hills, and Drizzle. I'm not familiar with the other ones. All those wineries suffered the same treatment. That's how Kazimierz works. Ayo! Don't care about the effort we put into tending our grapes, not for our lives and the memories carried by the unique astringency in our traditional wines. All they want is to clear out their weaker competitors one by one until they monopolize all the shelves of every store. And will ultimately lose any choice in the products we buy. When that happens, I doubt their prices will stay as low as they are now. Oh, hold up. Telephone alarm saying orange rainfall. Holy. Yep, that's what they do. They make it low at first, buy out the competition, and then you locked it. Time to raise it up because you're the monopoly now. Amazon. Well said, but that does not justify your use of illegal means. Well said. I know what I have done won't stop the Kazimierzians from trampling all over our wine and other industries. But I had to do something. I'll accept whatever punishment I deserve. Voices from the gallery only grow louder and louder. Lavinia raises the gavel in her hand, but hesitates for a while before she puts it down without striking the block. Your Honor, if you would allow me a few words. Speak. I believe the testimonies you've heard from the witnesses you summoned are sufficient to prove I have no connection to the murder of Paola Meminger. But Elio Fabri is indeed in my company's employ. I did not compel him myself, and he did engage in activities deemed illegal by the New Urban Management Act targeting Golden Prairie. I believe his reasons for doing so are perfectly understandable, not just to me, but to every Nuova Volsinese sitting in the gallery right now. But a violation of the rules is a violation. I do not expect the court to make an exception for him. Though, as his boss, I am willing to bear the punishment for his crime, be it a fine or a prison sentence. The murmurs are now so loud that even the gavel fails to silence the crowd. Reporters in the back rows leave to contact their newspapers. Lavinia announces the end of the trial, declaring the verdict to be given at a later date following jury deliberations. Amidst the chaos, Liantuso catches Dimitri looking at him. Watches as Dimitri raises his hand, puts his index and middle fingers together, and gently points them toward Liantuso, then himself. He recognizes the action, a unique gesture they have both used since they were little to signal, "Catch you later" for a chant. Liantuso does not respond. Yes, we've confirmed with the team responsible for guarding the Bologna estate that Elio Fabri did not visit Dimitri Bellone's residence following the murder of Paolo Miminger. We have not monitored any calls between them either. In other words, he just spoke of his own accord at the courthouse. That seems to be the case as far as we can tell. The jury has yet to reach a verdict, so we can only continue to watch the Bologna estate and keep Signor Fabri in custody for now. I'd like to speak with him in private. By all means. Zio Elio. I didn't know you were in Nuova Volsini. Oh, I thought Senior Mayor and Judge Lavinia would have come across my name while scrutinizing entry applications from Bologna Associates. I didn't notice, but why are you still with them? I thought after Padre's death, Familia Bologna lost all the power it had. You should have left then. I knew you never liked having to do things the mafioso. Leave? I lost my fruit stand. Must we were left her with a lifelong need for medication and I've been struggling. If Don Dimitri hadn't invited me to join his winery and source grapes for him, I didn't know how I would have survived. Nuova Volsini provides job opportunities for everyone with the will to shape a future with their own hands. Is that so? Do you think small businesses can still survive under Casimirian merchants' heel? But your acts of sabotage, the Familia used to do the same. The Familia's ways of doing things. Yes, they remind us every citizen here of our painful past. I do admit it was a shameful act, but fortunately, Judge Lavinia allowed me an opportunity to speak the truth in court. Lavinia was the one who arranged for you to be there? Yes. Sometimes we have no choice but to only do as much as we can, no? You asked me why I was still working for Don Dimitri. Easy. Material conditions. It is because he still adheres to the old Familia creed. A pack of whelps grouping up to help each other can keep all of us from being devoured by a bigger beast. I hear your inauguration speech too. I could feel your passion. You ask how our neighboring nations would view us. Would they see us as a new possibility? But now I believe they do. They see us as a new avenue to exploit us for their own gain. Yes, I work for the Don, but is it the Bologna business I care for and want to protect? No, it is our own industry. It is Don Dimitri who gave us this opportunity to unite and stand against the great merchants. Hey, I spy! Congratulations on your not guilty verdict, Signor Bellone. Oh, I thought you of all people would be most eager to see me behind bars. Just a misunderstanding. The trial at the court clearly proved your innocence, and the entire city knows of your magnanimity. Let's put all the twists and turns that happened during the championship behind us. It is undeniable that your winery took the crown. Okay, so who's the Cabernet still though? That's still a mystery question mark. Siracusa Vino now holds the title of #1 winery in all of Nuova Volsini. Truly an enviable feat. Thanks to you as well. Bah. Surely you joined the next iteration as well. Defending the crown would be a legendary achievement. Perhaps. But as you say, Siracusa Vino is now the #1 winery in the city. So I'm afraid I no longer see the value in joining a so-called competition to increase the value of my products, am I right? Fair enough. But Elio Fabri damaging a winery's water systems under the ownership of Golden Prairie surely impacts you somehow. You said you'd pay his fine, or even serve his time. Noble gesture. But you don't necessarily have to follow through. A trivial matter like that isn't worth the public prosecution in the first place. No one would have noticed the incident had I not filed a lawsuit in the first place. Senor Charek, you can get straight to the point. What is your goal here? I don't think it's just to repair our working relationship with a tiny favor. I do appreciate frankness. Regardless of our backgrounds, we are both businessmen now, are we not? So, Senor Bellone, I'd like to discuss a deal with you. Let Golden Prairie invest in Siracusa Vino. Our strong alliance will surely sweep the Siracusan markets. And if, or when the time comes, our business empire will eventually expand beyond Siracusa and Kazimierz. Oh, is that so? Indeed. I know you currently do not lack for capital or production tech, and you have your reputation built. But you must be aware of the Kazimierz General Chamber of Commerce behind me. If we work together, our resources, like our comprehensive supply and logistic channels, and even the media channels we have ties with. I mean, this isn't even soft power anymore, no? This is pretty much strong arming with The back of fucking KGCC. What the hell, man? All of that will be available to you. Surely a young, upstanding man like yourself doesn't want to stop at a single winery that doesn't even bear your name? Have you never considered establishing a Bellone? No, a Dimitri commercial empire? Intriguing. I didn't expect the trial's outcome to impact your company and judgment so much. It did indeed leave its mark on my wine business, but Golden Prairie still retains its price advantage. I'm thinking the KGCC was the impetus behind this effort to discuss a cooperative relationship. We are businessmen, Senor Bellone. We are naturally driven by the pursuit of maximum profit. It is normal for us to set aside our preferences when discussing a deal in our quest for the most beneficial result. As your employee said, this is how Casimir works. So, think about it, young man. Don't be in such a rush to refuse me. Refuse? Did you think I would do that? I mean, one of them's gonna devour the other. That's how capitalism works, baby. Unfortunately. Liantuso arrives at Dimitri's residence late at night. The rain that lasted all day is now reduced to a faint drizzle, gradually slowing to a stop. But his mood remains melancholic. I mean, that's still pretty strong. For a drizzle. Is that smoke? I'm gonna assume yes, because what the hell is this? Security guards from City Hall who are still at the estate lead him inside. He thought Dimitri would have come out to meet him, but he is mistaken. Dimitri is simply seated in a chair, a seat decided by old familiar custom to be the Don's, silently watching him. A dim light over his head obscures his expression. The Entusa suddenly realizes it has been a long time since he's read any expression from Dimitri's face. Here you are, after all. Yes, you asked me to come. I remember the gesture. Glass for each of us. I can mix a ginger fizz with apple juice you like as a base. Though it's hard to find traditionally pressed apple juice in Nuova Vocini these days, I'm sure it's been a while since you've had any. Fortunately, I found someone to help me acquire it. I've never heard this background music, I think. Has to be you. Sure you didn't call me here to reminisce about the old days. You can lower your guard. When I arrived here, I think I spotted a Casimirian car leaving. The boss of Golden Prairie, Charek. What was he doing here? He wants to work with Saluza Vino. I agreed. Why? Why? Is this not what you people at City Hall want? Bringing in foreign capital will help local businesses to thrive and evolve. This is how businesses here and even across Siracusa will gain access to a wider market. Charek was here as an agent of the KGCC and they offered generous terms. I had no reason to refuse. Casimirian businessmen aren't as nice as you might think. You're worried for me. Managed to gain the Saluza's assets with your particular methods. But this doesn't mean you will see the same results with the Casimirians. You can only try and see. Yup, you will try to devour one or the other. Also, City Hall will surely protect the interests of us local businesses, yes? Now an amendment to the new Urban Management Act sits on your desk. It's just missing your signature. How do you... Just some of those so-called underhanded familia methods? We should always seek all the intelligence we can to make the most beneficial decisions. I believe I taught you this long ago when I was grooming you to be the Don. That amendment is just a draft. I might not even sign it. You're hesitating, I know. You just can't make up your mind. You fear the people will denounce you, that all your achievements will go to waste, that Nuova Volsini will return to the old familiar ways. Should I not be afraid? It's too easy. Going back to our familiar methods, while new sparks are so hard to start. All the familia outside the city are watching our every move. Give them one chance and we'll be torn to shreds, never to recover. But you have more to worry about than just the familia. Besides the Casimirian and Colombian businessmen who exploit loopholes in the act, there are also Litanians trying to expand their influence in the city. Did you know? I received some surprising news just before the competition. Someone was dispatched here from the Litanian border for the sole purpose of dispatching the exiled dissident, Paula Meminger. Dissident, eh? I Lythanian's eternal grace forbids everyone from deviating from their movement, even outside Lythanian territory. That's kinda scary. They need to 100% follow the Gulden's Gazettes. And you use this to your advantage. I didn't fan the flames, I simply let it be. Fortunately, things turned out well and you also have a chance to amend the act. Is this not what City Hall has been waiting for this whole time? I believe Lavinia arranged that trial just for that. I do intend to limit foreign capital here, but that does not mean who else can you even rely on if not us local businessmen? Regardless of whether or not we have familiar backgrounds, we are all at least complying with your city's rules. We can act as your insurance. Empty promises mean nothing to me. I know you're skeptical of the familiar, but you should understand we started off as nothing but a band of whelps, powerless against the barons and chaos of Siracusa. We helped those around us and hoped the day might come when we could win something in return to improve our lives. We Siracusans take care of our own. It is our tradition and what I've always done. So after the Don's death, after you left, I took the Bellona's reins. Because I cannot let the familiar lose their home. Just as you cannot let the Siracusans lose ground to foreigners from Casimir's, Lythanian, and Colombia. Or am I wrong? Smile. You will do great things, Leon. One day you will actually be able to realize your dreams in Siracusa. I've always believed this. I've heard this from you before, Metri. I said back then you could be my right-hand man. The offer remains even now at City Hall. No, grazie. I really don't get along with Lavinia. And as you said before, there are things better suited for her and others only I can handle. Just like right now, some matters are for City Hall to carry out, while others are better for us to do. Your ideals alone cannot keep Nuova Volsini alive. This city needs and must have the support of the old familia. You sound so certain. You met Signora Cecilia. I'm sure you know well just how happy she is to meet young people with ideas. Your established rules will keep the Familia and Nuova Volsini from running amok, while my ways will gather all the power and spirit of Siracusa. This will become a new guns and order for this city, Leon Tuso. You read the theory and I do the praxis. I can't. As Leon Tuso leaves, Dimitri extends a hand towards him. A signal of cooperation. Leon Tuso hesitates for a moment before stretching out a hand himself. Where's the stretch out hand, damn it? They used to be close, no strangers to sharing hugs or laughter, but this formal handshake now is the first between them. At the conclusion of their handshake, Dimitri returns to his chair. And just like Leon Tuso's father and every Siracusan dawn, he disappears into the darkness. The rain is no more. The sky is surprisingly clear and tranquil. That amendment. Are you really okay with it, Lavinia? You used to want for a Siracusa without even a trace of the Familia. I spent more than a decade under the Bellona's shadow, Leon. I don't mind waiting a little longer. Then the same goes for me. Hey yo, they ended there? God damn it. Yep. Murder happens here. And this one is just showing like the hard times for local businesses. And then this, the new girl, basically paid by the new business to like pretty much overtake everything locally. And then this one, another one, an old, what you call that? An old traditional wine being kicked out because of Golden Prairie. The new foreign, it's not even exports, it's more foreign imports. And then Crash. This is about, right, literally because of the car crash with Gianni and Tommaso. And then this one. Okay, so the Lythanian murderer was somebody from Lythania who was dispatched to kill the, what do you call that? The exile, Paula Meminger. We just don't like her? What did she even do to get exiled? And then here, it is basically better to be quote-unquote, well, quote-unquote better. I guess it's like Iraq and US. It's better under Saddam than under US. Something like that, yeah? It's better to be ruled by your own kind than foreign power. Ish. I mean, it's not the best, but it's less worse. Okay, I didn't even know this would be like a vignette. I thought it was gonna be like the usual side story stuff, but yeah. I enjoyed it. Not like super... It's not like super good. I mean, it's just basically like a follow-up. No Lapland, actually. Huh. No Laplander rule, because this is more on the Familie. Yep. Definitely on the Familie and Nuova Bolsini and how they're gonna go on forward at this time. Well, I guess the next Siracusa is gonna be like... No Giovanni, right. Who are the Siracusans who could be coming up? You have Tosha here. You have the Verdi. Oh my god, how can I? Irene. I don't think you're gonna appear again. Question mark, Repreza. Maybe her mom's gonna be like named almost for sure. Paula Meminger, but yeah. So it's like Siracusa versus like Tanya, Colombia, and Kazimierz. Potentially is the next one. Or at least getting a hold of their traditions, culture, and goods and services from being pretty much taken over by foreign capital. Yep, this story is about capitalism, ladies and gentlemen, and how it's bad. Thank you for watching. See you next time, folks.